Greetings, weary travelers, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, tales of Tamriel. I'm your host, Arcaneer Silvershield, and I'm here with an absolutely amazing crew for this episode 300 celebration. Joining me as always, the man, the myth, the legend, Lotus of Doom. But we also have some absolutely amazing crew. Now, since this is episode 300, and it wouldn't have happened if one person hadn't started it all, he had to be here, the founder of the show himself, Jealous. How's it going, Egg?
Yay! Thunderous applause.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. It's amazing to have you here again. Hopefully you're not playing Elden Ring in the background. The silence.
No,
he
not
didn't
at
lie,
all.
but
Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth.
If you see me get really tense at any point in time, middle of a boss fight, that's just how it's gonna be.
I'm just waiting for the controller to come at the camera real fast and real hard.
Just flip everything.
Yeah.
well, we also
Yeah,
have
that
two
might
amazing guests, our friends from the UESP podcast, to make this yet another officially, unofficially, official Elder Scrolls Tales of podcast. Pylon and Doc, how are you two doing?
Hello. How's it going? I'm doing well. How are you, Doc?
I'm doing well. How's chat doing?
Hey, let's just take over and start hosting our own show like normal Doc.
Hey, I was gonna say, you guys had like a show, right? So it's
Well, once upon a
We
time, I remember it.
did. Somebody got a job and ditched me. No,
I don't know who you're talking about. I also plead the fifth.
this is gonna be a silent podcast. Everybody's just gonna plead the fifth.
Giving evil eyes.
I'm just trying to stare at Ark until he starts laughing. That's just what I'm going to do for the entire show.
I mean, look, I don't have a time limit, so I'm happy to stay here laughing for like 4 hours before we get through the show, so it's up to you. He's really doing it. I'm sorry the audio listeners will miss this face.
I know, listeners, you're missing it, but Pylon's staring deeply into each and every one of chat's eyes and trying to get Ark to laugh. So,
And personally, this just needs to be our like shot for the show.
Yeah.
My eyes are watering now.
Oh, we're
That
gonna
was a
play
lot
that
of wide
game.
eyes.
All right.
So now Ag's being sultry in the upper corner as well. This is
Oh, yeah.
see, so we get an extra gift for anybody on the video version.
I mean, I'm pretty sure these are
swooning.
going to end up on Twitter anyway, so if you're
Yeah,
on the
hands down.
audio
He totally
version...
screenshot it. Totally
Yeah.
screenshot it.
So, obviously, we have quite a bit of stuff to go through this episode, being I guess, a milestone that we didn't expect to reach, and I don't think any podcast ever really expects to reach. I mean,
300's a lot.
It
300 is a lot.
is. 8 years, 300 episodes, so many different hosts and co-hosts. It's been a journey, and we are definitely gonna go through all of that. On top of that, we got something we weren't expecting for our episode 300 when Dominic reached out to us and he was like, do you want to be on the... So they basically wanted us to be on the spotlight on Elder Scrolls Online's website for our episode 300, which we obviously got very nervous and excited and said yes. So if anyone's here for the first time through that article, welcome in. We hope you enjoy the show. This first few minutes is exactly how this generally goes. We do talk about Elder Scrolls. We do talk about Elder Scrolls Online. But it takes us a bit of time to actually get there. So I hope you enjoy the banter. The
the
content
rails are
is
something
in there.
we get to occasionally.
Yeah. We are kind of famous with our derailment and dumpster fire shows. So
What are
we hope you
rails?
enjoy that. It's every now and then I see them in my dream and everything sort of like fits into place, but I wake up very fast, so
I really thought
I
you were
just
going to
wanna
go with like
point
a
out-
dictionary definition there. I'm like, what are rails?
Actually
And I was gonna
explain
be like,
what a rail
actually,
Yes.
so
When I hosted the show, I was meticulous. Then I
You
passed it
were.
over to Ark, And he just dropped the grenade in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I got brought on the show, we
Then Lotus joined, and it's just
yeah. And then it was like, okay, so he has to pause a lot to not swear. So there goes our family friendly tag. So now we've arrived at 300.
Yeah. Things been
Lots of
flowing a lot
evolutions.
better since
I actually
then, though,
think
yeah.
I remember the first episode that you were on, Lotus, with me.
Yup.
And it took me 8 hours to edit because I had
Yes.
to bleep out every curse word.
Yes, because I slipped up more than a couple times, and the rest of the times, I told people why, because a couple people
I
had brought
actually
up when
remember the number.
right when I was new, and people were like, oh, you have like this thing where it's like you kind of like pause. I was like, that's because I actually realized I was about to swear, so I was trying not to. So I would stop myself.
That's what
Other
that
times it would just
pausing
kind of
was.
come out.
I always wondered what that was.
That was either Ag editing me or me accidentally like realizing like, whoops, that wouldn't be appropriate for Tales. Like,
So yeah, eventually
You
I
actually
gave
got
up on the
better over
editing.
time, but do you want to hear the number?
I was
Do
gonna
you
say,
want to hear
what
the
is
number of
first one?
times
'Cause-
for the first
yeah, I was
episode
gonna
you
say
were on?
if you have it,
I
because I
actually
know
remember
you
it.
keep these weird stats. So.
I do.
I
It was
wanna
mostly
know.
because of how long it took me. The first episode that he was on, 73 times, I had to go through and edit.
See, that is exactly
73
why I gave up on that.
different times.
Well, shit.
Wait, which
I
one
think
of
the
you did that?
record was 5 times in a single sentence.
I actually heard a beep come from one
Yeah,
of
I
you.
installed because
the
of
censorship.
Doc's potty
That
mouse.
was
I
Pylon. So rude. You did it
Yep.
for me. So rude.
So, before we
So there,
get
I just
into-
provided a memory from,
I
the
was gonna say,
300
I love
episodes that I was on.
I always
it's-
wondered why there's so many pauses, and then I
Yeah,
forgot
it was
about
either intentional edits or me like memory editing before I actually screwed it up.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
It's
after
so
I told him the
funny.
first day how long it took me and how many times, he like, oh, that's right, I'm not supposed to curse on the show.
Yeah.
And therefore,
Going
started
forward, there was a lot more
editing himself.
self-pausing.
the kids just need to learn to like make up new words, like fuddle
I do it all
dunks or
the
something like that.
time.
The
You can
problem
ask
is
all my
it's
Fuddle
friends.
dunks more.
yeah.
Fudge nuggets. Fudge nuggets was always one of my favorites.
That actually
yeah,
sounds delicious, though.
I know. It's
have
great.
you ever watched Madagascar?
Yes.
Okay. You know the scene when Alex and what's the zebra's name? I want to say Marty. Marty are running towards each other at the beach, and it's slow motion. It's like Alex, and then at the end he gets angry and turns around and goes, "Oh, sugar honey iced tea!" Like real fast in slow motion. I'm sitting there going, "Sugar honey."
Oh.
And you spell out the letters what he was saying. Oh, sugar honey iced tea, because it's all supposed to be slow motion.
That's
while they're
actually
saying
pretty
it.
clever.
Yeah.
So,
Especially when you're watching with your kids and you're like, why is he saying?
I'll explain it when you're older.
Yeah.
So I kind of assume a lot of people are waiting for some big announcement that we kept teasing, but it was all a lie. There's no. I'm joking.
Yeah, no.
But we have some stuff to go through before we get there. First of all,
Are you
an
going to drag
iTunes
it out?
review.
Ooh. I said, oh,
That's
you're going
called
to
a
drag it out. We're
tease,
not going to
Lotus.
start with it. All
Okay,
right.
of
Lotus,
course.
it's called a tease.
All right.
Gotta keep him on the
This
hook.
is why I'm bad at advertising.
So we got another iTunes review. This is 5-star, titled "Stop Red and Blue Tyranny," which I don't like. Hey, Lotus and everyone who makes the show happen. I want to thank you for putting this show out for everyone to listen and enjoy. Keep it up and don't stop. The Elder Scrolls and Tales are hand in hand now, and that makes us really happy. Except the title, again, because especially the Red Tyranny shall not stop.
Yeah,
It
only
is-
Red Tyranny.
It's
Maybe
been-
he meant that it should only be Red Tyranny, and that they didn't want any Blue Tyranny as well.
True.
I mean,
If you wipe out the
I
blue
just
and the yellow,
represent
there's
the
only
blue
red.
because
There
I
it
felt
is.
bad. I'm still red, but
Look,
You
guys really need to learn how
representing
commas
one
work,
of those
'cause
other
I
alliances.
needed to level it out because we had Avron that was bright yellow, and then we have you all red. So I needed to level it out to make it,
Their ESO is silver
Even.
medal, and we all love them. That's fine. That's great.
So again, in relation to that announcement, and in relation to what Katie also brought up in chat, she just said, "I thought you were riding guars into battle for the AD for charity." That happened, yes. It was for Extra Life, unfortunately. So Shandy had an idea for people to drop in like fake reveals for us. So I want to go through them before we actually do the actual reveal, right? Because there are some of them are really great. Some of them break my heart really, really bad. So this one was from Ugo. The show will rebrand as the Cult of the Guar. This will not happen. Not on my... I would have to, like, I don't know, disappear completely, and Lotus would have to take over completely, which I don't plan on going anywhere just because of this. The reason I'm back now is to keep Lotus from adding that Guar logo on every time he hosts the show. So
I love how long it took before people started.
And the reason
to
I'm
pick
here
up
is to
on it.
overpower you, Ark.
Exactly.
Because I'm fine
See?
with that.
Yeah. So, okay. So one
I'm
thing
suddenly
though,
outnumbered.
that was a big thing. I looked back because I had some questions. When was the first time people were on the show? And that episode you were talking about, Ag, the episode was called The Cult of the Guar. And I was like, oh, I came in swinging for episode one.
Actually, one of the first interactions I had with Ark was when he vehemently sent me a diagram of why Gar are abominations.
Yes.
Yeah. That was one of the first emails I
T-Rex,
sent to
Park
the show.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember it. Everyone that came on the show was like, Guars are cute, Guars are nice. And I was like, no. So I sat down and wrote like a 3-paragraph email with also added diagram of how Guars are evil. Before I
They're a
even got
delight.
like
Clearly-
familiar with the show.
For the Guar.
Clearly, Guars are alpha and Ark is a beta, so he wouldn't understand this. So
Wow.
I get
It's
it.
on a
I
higher
played too much
plane or
Pokemon
whatever
because I was
it
thinking
is.
about an alpha
Where's your
guar, like
stuffy
just giant
guar,
guars.
Ark? Where's your stuffy Guar?
Alpha Guar.
Guaranir was great. Yeah,
Here is
Elfenir was
the-
also
Yay.
great.
Here's the Guar plushie.
How can you not love that?
Poor Guar plushie.
What we don't know is that Ark sleeps with that Guar every single
Every
night
night.
and cuddles
Yep.
it.
Just cuddle
Yeah.
it.
Snuggled up with his AD banner as a blanket.
All right, big reveal. The show is cancelled. I'm gonna-
And we're done. Big reveal. I'm tired of you guys. That's the reveal.
I've been griefed for 7 years. I'm out. Just flip the desk and it ends.
Is he playing Elden Ring too?
The real boss is the friends you made all along.
Yep. Where are the
They're
ads?
harder.
So we got some more like fake reveals. This is from T-Dub. Lotus is no longer playing on PlayStation and is starting over on PC. I wish. I
Okay,
wish.
but wait. Literally, I logged into ESO last night, and who do I see online on PCNA? Lotus
It's
of
true.
Doom.
So I actually got an uncomfortable amount of messages being like, why are you on PC? I was like,
Oh
look,
my god!
I made a character for the AA XP event coming up that they haven't announced yet, but we're going to be getting Jester's Festival. Like, spoiler
Any
alert,
time.
it's still a thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to make a Templar DPS because it turns out I can actually legit DPS as a Templar.
Sure
so-
can.
Yeah, so whenever
You could
I
two-hand
can-
tank too.
Oh my god, not again.
I've still got the build listed in your honor. It's actually in the build section for the armory. It's labeled sex block. So
Amazing.
so yeah, it's still there. And yeah, I was setting that up so that, you know, whenever I'm needed for stuff on PC, I was like, oh, I can actually like fill in a lot better if I am needed as a DPS instead of a tank. So I was messing around with it. Pylon made me some nice training gear, much appreciated. Grizz ran some dungeons with me, and yeah, I just kind of set that stuff up. But yeah, in the couple hours I was on, holy crap, did everybody take notice of the fact that it's like, you're on PC, you're on PC. I see somebody on PC. Who is on PC? I'm like, all right. It's like,
I have a PC
yes, I still
account
turn it
too.
on.
We should totally link up together and
Hell yeah.
freak out everybody and be
Yeah.
like, where
the
we swapped
PS4
over.
people are here.
But Doc, that requires you actually log on PC.
I know. I would do it. I still have it. I have to
Sound like me.
upgrade it. You never made me training gear, Pylon.
You never wanted it.
I would have taken training gear to level up my person.
Then just ask. I'll make you some now.
Okay.
So
We'll make some while we're
was
recording.
partly
Hold
right
on.
with his fake prediction.
What set do we
on.
make Doc? That's the real question here.
Just make all the wrong things, but it's still in training gear.
Yeah. It's one piece of
Yeah,
10
of like different sets.
Yeah.
That's how I originally played ESO. I didn't know sets were a thing while you were like leveling.
Same.
I thought they were for like end game.
That's
so I
valid.
literally killed Molag Bal with no set. And it took me like 2.5 hours to finish that fight because I was using like level 20 gear. and it
that's
was
packed with
brutal.
vet ranks.
Hey, man,
So
I got
everything was-
the beast personality with my friends, and I didn't realize that I was wearing non-complete sets the entire time. I did not realize it until after the fact. And I was like, oh, hey, we still got it, though. So, I mean...
Amazing.
But I was like, yeah, why are
Amazing.
we not hitting as hard as we usually do? What's going on here? And I looked at my gear, and I guess like I had like swapped off half of it and then got distracted, saw a squirrel or something, and then didn't finish it. And yeah. So it's possible. It can happen.
So this one, again, hurts my heart. This is from Crownia. So Arcaneer is going to reveal he's been role-playing a Guar farmer and has a cosplay plan to match. And Lotus of Doom will be the Guar in that cosplay.
I don't like that mental picture.
Well, I just
It does
assumed that...
seem weird.
I assume what it would actually be is just instead of me having a camera, just a live feed of my stuffed Guar. That's just all my feed is anymore. It's just the stuffed Guar.
No. In my head now, I have this like grotesque abomination of like a Guar where we've morphed Lotus's face into it.
Oh, I was thinking
And it's-
like one of those inflatable T-Rex outfits.
Oh god.
He could be like a VTuber.
That's
He
perfect.
needs to be a VTuber with the
Yes.
Amazing.
Well, that's an image for nightmares. It's
Yeah, I was going to say, enjoy that, audio listeners, because it's not better on video.
This is from Gone Crazy Back Soon, who's also in chat. The new title of the show will be Guars of Tamriel. No. Ark and Lotus will explore the background of and name each of the Guars across Nirn. That would be an undertaking, even if I was willing to
That'd
do
be
it.
so fun.
They will also only ride Guar into battle while yelling for the Queen. Both will only be PvPing for AD for the next year for charity.
Ooh,
That
I don't
better
like that.
be a massive milestone. Because the last few milestones we set, thinking that people would not reach it and we would be safe, went horribly wrong. Like, they immediately fell apart. So, for that, I'm thinking like 20,000 or something like that. At least for the Elder Scrolls
$10,000.
heroes, Elder Heroes as a whole. Like,
So,
$10,000 and Ark writes a book naming each Guar and like a backstory and biography with like a printed like encyclopedia of every Guar on
photos.
Tamriel.
I'm just gonna download it from UESP. I'm sure I'm sure I can find a list of it on UESP.
I'm sure actually that exists.
yeah. That actually seems pretty on brand.
I'm finding it right now. This is important.
And final one, which ties directly into our actual big reveal. Bob Chichinski wrote, Bob Chichinski is the new host. So there you go. Bob Chichinski from Red Diamond Courier Podcast is the new host. And
so it turns out we are actually now the Red Diamond Courier.
We swapped. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really great idea, Shantyman Gaming, and
it was funny.
It broke
Some
my
of those are
heart,
awesome.
but I enjoyed reading them nonetheless. It's so okay. Should I drag it any further or just get into it? What do you think? What do you think, chat?
I hate taunting people, so I say we just announce it, so then we can get into all the sappy.
Lotus plays exclusively tanks and just says, "I hate taunting people."
Taunting.
That's the thing. If you just have better DPS, I don't need to waste all these resources taunting all this crap. Just kill it. I like looking good by
hitting
proxy.
it once, guys, and that's it.
Yeah, I'll hit it at the beginning, but the rest is up to you.
Look, man, you have 14 seconds before this clock ticks down to 0, so I hope that it's dead. That's
If
my
not, he'll
pro
blame the
level
healer.
taunt tips.
Maddie says he's gonna clear this chat if we don't down.
Oh no!
Yep. Maddie's gonna blow up the chat if we don't leak.
Okay, well, so a lot of folks really enjoy. We've been doing crossover episodes with UESP for a while now with Pylon and Doc. We've named them in several different ways, including the favorite unofficial Tales of Elder Scrolls Pages podcast. And we thought
Rolls right off the tongue.
It's a great title, guys.
So whenever we do it, it is the most ambitious crossover of the year. And we thought, why not make every episode the most ambitious crossover of the year, just in increasing quality. And yeah, so
increasing.
Yeah, look, well, I mean, hopefully
the quality is there, regardless of what level it is on the scale.
I'm just making things up now, okay? I didn't prepare this properly. But yeah, so we are going to be going in full collaboration with UESP, and Tales of Tamriel will be the official podcast for UESP, and Tales of Tamriel will be produced from now on, I guess, by UESP. So there you go. From now on, we are officially the unofficial Tales of Elder Scrolls Pages podcast. Although we are just going with that name because we couldn't fit into a logo.
That'll be, yeah.
He also
Which is
says
also
produced
good
by UESP. Ark's still doing all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now we get your sweet UESP backing on everything. And
yes.
On top of that, the fact that Doc has joined us for a couple episodes to positive response. Doc is now a host of the show along with us to kind of officially merge the UESP and Tales of Tamriel together. So
there you go, folks. That was
it's all
the
one big family.
And now people in chat, what's the status? We were expecting a name change to Guar.
That was a participation award of announcements.
Guys, I love Guar, so that's just more Cult of the Guar now.
Wait,
yeah, no, this is totally going in the correct direction, like I said.
Yes, guys, I'm here for you.
I'm here for you. Every time someone new joins the show, it's like they have something favorite that I absolutely hate. What is this? Can't we just have someone else who is also AP and hates Guars? Like,
no, it's all fine. It's all fine. Everything's coming to fruition from my very, very slow takeover that was not even remotely intended.
But no, so we have been planning this for a little while. I kind of pitched the idea when I had to step away from the show because I got the new job, and I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time. So I was like, but Tales has always been basically like we've been like brother sister podcasts,
right?
So we're just like, well, why don't we just combine forces and make this? So like, Tales will probably not really change other than the addition of Doc, except for the fact that we're just going to add kind of more of like the UESP resources that we have into it, so that we can Project to the moon.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
Oh, not Coda. Get away from me.
It's all Coda. Everything's Coda now.
Oh no, it's just
They made it canon.
He said it. Project to the moon. That's it.
Yep.
It's Coda.
Now that we're the official Coda podcast, I'm out.
Somehow or
Ark's still gonna have
another.
to do all the work in the back end, and Lotus is still gonna make inappropriate slip ups.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get to those in the memory section.
But now you guys get Doc.
Yes, and we get Doc to balance things out. So back to a consistent three host show, which
Yay!
I think is kind of like where the flow shines ideally. We've had great response from all the guest stuff that I kind of did during that little stint. That'll still be continuing. But yeah, with the UESP tie-in, this will be good because again, you guys have been around for literally ever, like since the formation of the series, and the absolute like go-to for everybody's like Googling searches. It'll be much simpler for us to reach out, get in contact with people that we need from Bethesda, ZOS, and stuff like that. Although, they've always been incredibly nice to us as is, but it's just like, it'll be nice to have that easier connectivity to them and all of that. So yeah, very, very happy to be working officially with the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages.
Yay.
I mean, it's the longest running Elder Scrolls fan resources with longest running Elder Scrolls podcast. It makes sense.
Yeah,
It's true.
Well, it's so crazy because, because I'm super stoked. Because I'm trying to think, what was your guys' 200th episode, or was it your 100th episode when you had joined, Lotus?
I was here for 200. I hadn't
200.
joined yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I joined at 178. It was brought to my attention originally.
I remember the 200. So I've been listening to Tales for years. Before Ark was even a host. I had been listening when when he was just a guest, So that's how long it's been that I've been listening to Tales. And I remember the 200th episode, because I think it was the Elsewhere reveal, and you guys were talking about everything.
Right around there, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I knew, because I wanted to do podcasting, and I wanted to do, what you guys were doing, and never in my wildest imagination would I think ever that I would be joining Tales, in any way, shape, or form, or be a host on another show with UESP. That was just, not even in my imagination whatsoever. And so it's just so cool being on the 300th episode because my mind's blown. It's just oh my gosh, total fangirling in a way. But, it's so cool. Because, I've been listening to this show. This was one of the main, honestly, and only Elder Scrolls podcast that I listened to for the longest time. Honestly. And so it's just so crazy, 300th episode, you guys. That's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, it's looking back when I first started listening to Tales, I didn't even know what podcasts were. I was looking at some live streams and I was like, what is this? And that's how I got introduced to podcasts. And then I became a fan, and then I lost my mind when Ag first followed me on Twitter and then first responded to me on email, and then when he first invited me as a guest, it was all so nerve-wracking, and I was fangirling too, honestly, the whole time. And here we are, 8 years later, 300 episodes in, and Ag, dude, did you expect that it would come to this point
8 years later?
Crazy.
My son wasn't even born when I started this show.
Crazy.
I know. I remember all the episodes where it was the lead up to oh my god, we're not, this is
the
a
milk
thing.
drinker.
And I'm oh, that's so great.
Milk drinker.
Yeah, that's what we called him, little milk drinker.
I
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, not to brag, but I've been listening since episode 1.
Have you though?
Not really. Have you listened to our episodes? I didn't listen to any of them after
I know
they were
I've
done.
edited a few episodes where I'm like, I'm not going to listen back to that.
I'm not re-listening to that mess. No. It's going out to the world.
Yeah, let's push it. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure we said nothing embarrassing at all. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see over 8 years.
Yeah.
And obviously, I love seeing. I'll say congratulations to everyone that's here for everyone putting it together. I've used our unofficial Elder Scrolls page. I always say it weird, so I always mess the letters up. UESP, not USP.
I screwed up too.
I know I do that too.
Whatever. I've been using you guys for like digging into lore stuff, so that's fantastic to see. I love your stuff. I do remember using that and memorizing 36 lessons of Vivek because we had certain people in the community, Ark, Gallisner, who thought I was reading off the notes, so they tastefully edited 36 lessons of Vivek. Little did they know I'd been memorizing it for years off UESP. So they're like, did he just do it off memory? Because I didn't read the notes because they added a bunch of interesting stuff in there.
I spent like several weeks saying like, okay, Ak, you don't have to worry about it. I'll put the next lesson in the notes so you don't have to like open it up. You can just read it from there. I spent several weeks doing this. So he would like get used to reading the thing from the notes, right? And the plan was, because this was around Elsewhere launch, I think, and obviously like dragons being in second era and whatnot, like there were lore discussions. So we thought with Gallisner we could squeeze in a line with the similar writing to Vivek in one of the sermons of Vivek, and that he would read it and that we would all laugh. And he started reading from the top, and he didn't even skip a beat, and he just continued as is, just skipped the line that we added in. And we just waited until, and then after it, we were like, were you not reading it from the lines? And he just went, no, I have it memorized. And I was like, I spent weeks on this preparing.
So to that same thing, which back again, one of the, I guess it's like my own memory of the show, which is weird when we drop these in, but like when I first joined you guys, one of the things that I knew you did to other guests was leave the mic open when the song would start, so you sound like a jackass because you're still talking.
Yep.
Over the and I stopped talking because
Are
I knew
we ready
that
to
was,
start, guys?
Yeah, I knew it. So I knew because I had listened to him, and when it ended, the first thing you said, I was like, "Wow, you really do listen to the show." I don't think anybody's just immediately stopped talking the second the sound starts. I was like, "Well, yeah, because everybody else talks over it and sounds real stupid because you guys won't respond to screw up the music."
Wow.
Is my mic off, guys? What's going on?
Yeah, and like they keep going because they think it's dead air, and you're just staring at them like, like let's just keep talking.
I had a guy reboot his computer. one of our one-time guests is like, I don't get it. Nothing's working. Let me just reboot. He just drops call, reboots his computer.
Yep.
I forget what episode. It was like 20.
Yeah, that was why. So that was one of the things I remember. I was like, hell no, I'm not gonna do that. Screw that. I'm not talking to no one. I know when the music starts.
So we actually have asked the community for like their favorite memories, just like these ones, and we got a whole bunch of things to go through. But before we get into that, on the topic of joining forces with UESP, there's obviously some technical background stuff that is going to happen with this. So first of all, DC and Patreon is officially closed. I just unlaunched it just before we went live. And I really, really, really appreciate everyone who supported us over there. That's how I got to keep it going. That's how I managed to like quit my job at some point and did this, what I love, for a whole year. And that wouldn't have happened with the financial support that you all have given us over there. And since that is now officially closed, I want to read the names and go through them to thank you individually. So SD, Robert, Solus Gaming, Starfallen Games, John Dar, Noodle Al Dente, Paul and Kulio, Ishabu, Babel Bay Podcast, Davin, Jor, Bob Chichinsky, Scotter, Child of Cities, Doohy, Pushing Pixels, Jealous, Arcaneer Silver Shield, because at some point I just I was there as well, CT Gan, and Amon Mar. Thank you all so very much for all your support over at DCN Patreon. And now that our Patreon is sorry, Slaps wrote something in chat in Turkish, and the literal translation just doesn't work. It was something, what was that? The queen is kind and warm, is apparently something I said all the way back in episode 25, which I was hoping that would have been forgotten, but translating that literally 20. To Turkish just did not work at all.
According to Google Translate, it goes, the queen is soft and warm.
Tales After Dark.
Yeah, this is awkward.
Yeah. Oh, we did have a Tales After Dark section.
Apparently we're rebooting that, because yeesh.
Wow.
Remember, we did a post show. We called it Tales After Dark because it was literally afterwards. After the show was done, we had we just did a post show, and I'm like, all right, Lotus, filters off, go.
But yeah, so from now on, you can support the show directly at the UESB's Patreon, patreon.com/UESB. And as an absolutely great added benefit, they actually keep real good track of their rewards over at the UESB's Patreon, unlike me, who was quite terrible at that. Yeah. So from now on, you can actually still continue to support the show the same way you did. Also get absolutely amazing cool rewards like Lotus is wearing there. Which
I was going to say hoodie. It's on the shelf in the background, so it's a little too far away to see. But at the same time, that the statue that you guys made for me, all of that stuff.
That ugly glass armor statue.
I think the one that they're working on this year is there's water bottles, but the really cool one's a 3D engraved map.
I got this mug. It's really cool.
Yep.
It says, "This might be skooma." It's awesome with the little USB logo on it. And lots of cool stuff, guys. Lots of cool stuff.
There's the Daedric magnets that they're working on this year.
Fancy calendars.
Yep, the calendars are always great. And that's the laser grid map thing is very impressive from at least what I've seen of it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that one works out.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how it works because it looks really good in the testing phase. Because a lot of this stuff, you kind of need to see if it works before you can actually give it away.
That's with the 3D printed custom characters. When we first thought about that, I was like, "There's no way this is going to work at all." But Dave's a master of figuring things out and making it work. It's so cool.
It looked exactly. So cool. I was like, "Holy crap! It's literally my character from in game. It's amazing." So.
I can confirm it was as ugly as in game as it was in real life. It was very on point.
I wonder if I could just get a Gwar made.
No.
Right?
Just for Ark's main character.
Yes.
Just have it labeled Guaranir.
Yes.
It didn't go through my head to possibly have Guaranir done instead of my character.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, that would 100% draw people to the Patreon.
It's true.
I would hate the idea, but it would be a very, very strategic way to do it. But yeah, from now on, the show, at least from the financial side, will be supported through the patreon.com/UESB. And of course, our live shows at the moment continue to happen over at Lotus of Doom's Twitch channel. That is twitch.tv/Lotus of Doom. And all your subscriptions and bits and everything that come through there go directly at Extra Life. So that is, we are going to keep things going over here.
My channel will be staying nonprofit on Twitch. So I will continue to just put this in and just donate it on behalf of all of you to our Extra Life campaign with the Elder Heroes. And actually, it'll be kind of updates this year, I guess, is the best way I can explain it. Because one thing I realized that we could be utilizing better is there's that Giving Tuesday thing they do toward the end of the year where Facebook, even though I don't like Facebook or Meta or whatever it's called, they will match officially sanctioned charities. So I'm actually compiling my Twitch payouts and I'm going to donate them en masse that day. So, and I'll just provide documentation so everybody knows where it goes, and Facebook will match it all. So that's kind of
a good idea.
Yes. So it will probably be a little bit of a slower build up this year, but it's something I started trying to plan out because I realized the missed opportunity last year from it. And I was like, I need to just take these Twitch things. I mean, I don't stream that much, as many of you all know. I always appreciate, everybody that hangs out when I do, but I don't have any type of schedule. And all of you are so generous with the Extra Life help. So just like anything I personally get paid through that, I'm going to see about trying to add up, and then I'll do a alert thing to all of you, just so I like just being transparent with you. Any of my Twitch payouts, I'm going to attempt to just do in bulk as like on behalf of all of you, and then kind of just see if I can get Facebook to, even if they don't match all of it, even if they match some of it, it's going away from Meta and to something that I actually care about. So that's fine with me. So yeah, that's why. So I'll keep everybody up to date on that as it goes.
That is what we call a pro gamer move right there.
360 no scope from Lotus to charity.
So yeah, there we might also move the show and where it's hosted and whatnot, but those are technical boring stuff, and hopefully will not break the RSS feeds in the process. It looks like they won't, but I don't trust myself when it comes to this show and things not breaking, so we'll see.
Yeah, it was
Totally gonna
seamless when
break,
Ag
but
had
we'll
to
be
do
able
it
to
originally.
fix it.
So in the upcoming weeks, you might notice that the show, I don't know, might disappear and come back. Who knows? Weird things may happen to the RSS feed, but hopefully we'll get it all working again once we attempt stuff. And on top of that, from now on, hopefully our Twitch live show schedule will be as set in stone as possible, with Sundays 3 p.m. Eastern time, which the same time we went live for this show, and it will continue to happen on Lotus's channel, as we said. So yeah, that means I can be around more or all the time, because it's actually not a weird 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning time for me. It's actually a nice 10, 11 p.m. So you will see me more.
That's lovely.
Right. So hopefully this time period works. And for those of you who like joining the live stream, this is the goal, to at least have some type of continuity for that. Obviously, we'll need to adjust a little bit if guests are specific for an episode, but this is at least the idea, is to have this be kind of like our live recording time.
Yeah. And so Lotus will continue to be the human resources for the show, or our Bethesda liaison with his extreme extroverted personality, and will continue to reach out and bug you all to come on the show, and hopefully we'll have more and more guests over, which is something I've never been good at, and I'm so glad I put Lotus on the helm of the show when I did, because that period has been absolutely amazing. I mean, the amount of people he brought on the show, all the absolutely fantastic people from the community, that's been great. That's been fantastic.
I'm glad people have enjoyed.
Yeah, so that will continue to be your thing. Be prepared.
I accept.
Speaking of things that are Lotuses, can we talk about Tales of Heroin now?
Okay, yeah, why not? We can
I want to talk about it so bad.
Just one game news I want to sneak in there, just so we can say we talked
There's
about game news. DLC releases tomorrow for PC. Enjoy. Do dungeons.
2 weeks for us on console.
So for Ed Lotus too, because he's on PC now.
Yeah. Beta test my things.
Yeah.
So okay. As I mentioned, sorry, but we asked for people's favorite memories of the show. They sent us a whole bunch of things. Some of them we expected, some of them we did not expect.
Some of them I didn't even remember existed
yeah.
or know about.
I'm gonna let Lotus start this because he will love it, especially apparently Pylon is gonna love it as well. And if you're in chat right now joining us live, do drop your favorite moments as well. All right, Lotus.
So yeah, to kick things off, this was kind of like an amalgamation of a lot of you. Some of you had very lengthy ones written out. So, we're going to throw out some specific names and stuff like that. But thank you to all of you that did respond to this in one way or another, to Official Tales, to email, to Discord, to me just on Twitter. But both of the most popular two we're kind of combining because we got many versions of remembering it. The number one was my incredibly awkward slip up that I tried to bulldoze past and literally no one would let me. Was when I accidentally introduced the show as Tales of Heroin instead of Tales of Heroism, which was a very awkward slip up that I tried to just go past, but Braun and Pixie and everybody was like, they couldn't speak, and no one in chat felt kind enough to let me bulldoze past it because that was all the chat was. So yeah, that was pretty tragic. But I'm glad so many of you got a laugh out of it.
Seems like false advertising, Lotus. Like, what the heck? Like,
don't do drugs.
And the best part is because
sounds like the show would have been better.
No,
why are they so on track?
Good
They're like
Lord.
real focused.
No bueno.
The best part is because like the recording schedule, because you guys to fit Arkin, is always usually so late. For whatever reason, I think I've been able to watch like 4 or 5 episodes of Tales recorded live. And that was one of them.
Of course. And actually, I appreciate chat supporting me right now, that it was actually me being very,
Tales
very...
of Heroin?
Yes, like exactly. I was promoting the awesome female characters in the series,
guys,
like
don't
Lyris,
do
who won't
that.
get out of the
Don't
door
do that,
race.
chat. Come on.
Yeah, no one's letting you off the...
I appreciate all of you, chat. So.
Literally, Lotus asked me for my favorite memories. And I sat in my office, I looked at my phone, because Lotus and I only communicate over Twitter.
It's
and
weird if we use anything else.
It's super weird. I just started cackling because I knew that was 100%. So I'm sitting here alone, just looking at my phone. I was like,
I think I did name that episode Tales of Heroin, like the female
Something
hero.
like
that.
I
think
Weird. How did it get blacklisted
insisted you
from,
put the E on
iTunes?
the end, so that it was literally like, no, look, if I'm going to be a dumbass, I'm going to be a dumbass and at least like support Serana and other characters in the series instead of inappropriate drug use. Like, yeah. So that was literally the most memorable one, it seemed, just by volume. I think there were 11 or 12 specifically commenting on that one. A pretty close second was the Halls of Refrigeration, which was specifically, for anybody who doesn't remember, Pixie got a brand new refrigerator and was incredibly excited about it during her move and everything. And after she spent like 3 minutes talking about how happy she was, I brought up the fact that I had the same fridge and it was a total piece of shit. And it was really great for a year, and then it all broke. Everything about it breaks all the time. It leaks. Features don't work. The ice tray literally snapped itself out of the unit. It is the most poorly designed thing I've ever experienced in terms of a kitchen appliance. And she literally, like, just borderline wept on the desk upon hearing that her favorite refrigerator is actually a piece of junk after year one.
So mean.
The build up to that. So she ordered the refrigerator, but they spent like 3 months to get it because they had all these shipping issues, stock issues. They spent 3 months fighting for this fridge. And Like, she spent 40 minutes on the show just ranting about how terrible that entire process was and how happy she finally got actually got the refrigerator and not skipping a beat. Immediately after.
How terrible
Lotus
the process was to get it, and then Lotus goes, "Oh, but just wait, you haven't got the fridge yet."
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, will you use the fridge?
You want to hear about a terrible experience? Let me just tell you.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Wow.
I'm curious
that
how the
was-
fridge is doing.
last
No,
I
I'm
heard, it was still fridging, so it's already leaps and bounds better than
So
mine.
maybe Lotus is just bad at fridging.
Well, so I actually know 4 other people with my fridge. All of them are broken.
How
Yeah.
do you people break fridges?
So the ice machine has a all right, for the Samsung, don't buy a Samsung refrigerator cast because that's what these are. They're the French door fridges.
I have a French door fridge, but mine's an LG,
Okay.
so
Okay, so
take that.
You're safe.
Oh no. So the way that the ice tray, the ice machine is designed where it's actually too thin. So when it flips the ice cubes out of the tray, they hit the wall. If there's any moisture, they
weird.
freeze to the wall. And it then builds an ice dam and breaks it out the side of the actual thing by continuing to ram ice cubes into the
Amazing.
frozen ice cubes.
That sounds like a feature.
It's sort of a feature
wanna
because
see
then
this
it
just
takes
get
over your
smashed.
fridge. Then the leaking is another issue where it's prone to like leaking into the produce drawer. The line just doesn't connect
Oh.
well.
Produce
Which
does
is a
so
mess.
well when it's wet, though, all the time.
Yeah, no, it's great, especially if you keep sushi in there. It's lovely to have it
Oh,
waterlogged.
nice and moist. And
And then the other feature, which I found out on the forums, this is the weirdest tangent this show's had in a while. I tried to fix the fridge myself, so I ripped the back panel off to see if I could figure out what was going on. And I found where the vent fans are for the fridge, and there's a defrosting mechanism, obviously, to help get rid of frost in the back panel. And it turns out that Sony cheaped out and didn't have enough defrost wire, so it stops halfway up the wall. So the ice dam builds up the wall where it doesn't defrost, and then the fan spins, hits the ice chips, throwing them around the interior of the thing, getting water all over the interior of your fridge ball.
Oh my gosh.
This is why this fridge is not good.
With all that said, if any other refrigerator company out there that is not Samsung wants to sponsor us, as
Yeah.
you can see, we can talk about it. We are very passionate about our halls of
Sponsored us
refrigeration.
Yeah, I don't think they'll want to sponsor
We
the
will
show.
tear
but
down your competitors. Trust us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing it
we start-
anyways.
can we start
So-
dividing ourselves instead of by like AD, EP, by like what refrigerator brand we're
Fridge
really
manufacturer-
passionate about?
Look, and as I always say, fair is fair. If they want to fix their model going forward, I won't take back what I said about this model, but I will commend that they fixed all their problems going forward is all.
That's amazing.
But yeah, that
But
was
yes, so those
fan
are the
favorite
two
moment,
most
apparently.
memorable. Well, that and then yeah, whatever it was that I think we had talked earlier about the halls of fabrication, and you just dropped the halls of refrigeration
I love
podcast,
it.
which was one of your most clever lines. I was like, wow, that's real good. It's like that's real clever. So.
okay, are you gonna continue or should I? What is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. Okay, so I guess we can kind of just like switch off on these. It doesn't really matter too much. Hazard is in chat, so we can actually use his next because this is also Pixie related. Which Pylon, I believe you said it's like a fever dream reading these.
It's true. Like they're just like if you read the show notes right now with no context, it's so bizarre.
So Hazard's memory, which I actually completely forgot. Somehow we were on a tangent about soccer, in which Hyperpixie mentioned that soccer is called soccer because you wear socks while you play. which I believe she
I don't
mentioned.
see a problem with that.
That made a lot more sense before I said it aloud, and I thought everyone would agree with me. And it was mentioned that some people thought the stream had frozen at the time because Ark and I guess, just stared slack-jawed at the screen, not saying anything. Because neither of us knew how to respond to that.
I mean, how can you respond to that at that point?
I don't know. But yeah, that was one I actually totally forgot about until Hazard sent it in. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? How about that?
So funny.
Yeah.
Can I just say though, like, we always derail, and at some point, I tried to get the show on a more structured manner without derailing much, and people didn't like that. And now I can confirm that, because so far none of the favorite memory things that we talked about has been actually Elder Scrolls related.
Has had anything to do with Elder Scrolls. Yeah. So far we are 0 for 3 on memories in about 22 responses so far. So yeah, that's oh, actually Slaps brings up, this one isn't actually in the notes, but it's quote unquote the lost episode. Well, one of the two. We never actually released it as an episode because you were like, this is too much even for our feed.
Yeah.
Was the drunk stream where I showed up hammered from a wedding but didn't want to miss the show. And Ark wasn't around. Pixie said, I'm pretty drunk, but I guess I'll join. And I was like, wait, is Braun still there? Get him on too. The three of us went through the new dungeon DLC involving Red Petal Bastion and the Dread Cellar, while all three people were dangerously not sober. And that one never got pushed to the feeds.
I need to find
some
this
people have mentioned that they were there for this episode. That episode was literally just live. There was no recorded version published.
How much of it do you remember?
Well, I remember us trying to explain the mechanics to Red Petal. And Braun was like, I don't think that's how that dungeon works. And I'm like, I don't care. We beat it like that. That's how the dungeon works. And that's really the extent
you guys were really in Fungal Grotto 1 and had no idea.
Yeah, this new DLC looks really familiar as I'm like in a random daily normal, and it's not vet, it's not hard mode, and I'm actually in Fungal Grotto 1.
I'm really curious if I have it saved somewhere.
Oh
because
my gosh.
I don't know. I came the other day to edit the show. I downloaded it. I started listening to it, and it was like, I can't publish this. It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have it anywhere though. I may have put it on Patreon that I just unlaunched.
Patreon exclusive. People are asking.
It should be.
Amazing.
Hearing reasons not to miss the live shows.
Yeah, if it exists, still, maybe we'll put it on USB Patreon. I don't know.
Yeah,
it might
that was the. I don't know.
Wait. You said moments ago it was too spicy for like the Tales feed.
So here we go. Okay.
No.
I don't really give a shit about my own personal YouTube. It's just there for fun. It's not monetized. I could always just put that up on mine just so people can see it.
We need to find it though.
Yeah, that's just it. It's like the Battlespire playthroughs up there. Literally nothing can be more offensive than that. So like in gameplay or me trying to figure out how to play. So I mean, what's a drunk cast? Like, that's fine. So we'll see if we can throw that up there for people.
I must watch this. Yeah.
Ag is in the corner like, I started a family-friendly show, and this is what it has come to.
I knew it all went downhill when you invited that AD one on here, and I was like,
yeah. In my defense, Pixie tricked me. She was playing a
She's
Breton.
deceptive like all AD, so it makes sense.
Wow.
Oh man.
All right. Actually, Ark, do you want to do
Sure.
half a day layaways?
Sure. So this is from Half a Day Layaway. Just wanted to tell you my tales. I saw the worldwide trailer for Elsewhere for ESO and it intrigued me. I thought it looked so cool, but I had never played an online MMO before, so I was hesitant to buy it. I spent that whole Saturday watching YouTube videos, looking through Facebook groups, and finding podcasts. Tales of Tamriel was the first podcast I came across and started listening to, it even before I bought the game. So I finally bought the game and fell in love with ESO and everything to do with it. Tales has meant so much to me over the years. It's a constant in my life where sometimes I need that. I work in a small hospital as a supervisor, and the past 2 years have been rough, but ESO and Tales of Tamriel have been there at the end of a long shift. So thank you for always bringing ESO news, Derailing, which is apparently Half a Day's Layaway's favorite as well, and your tales. P.S. I also miss the resident Argonian, which is Promethean. Hope everything in life is going good for him. Can't wait for the 300 episode. Reading that really means a lot, because the reason I was sort of hell-bent on keeping Tales going, regardless of like life situation, how busy things get, or whether if I'm even playing Elder Scrolls Online or not, was the exact same reason, because it meant a lot to me and it was there during a rough time in my life as well. And I was like, when Ag brought me on the show, and then when he mentioned that, you know, he was gonna step aside, I was like, this has to continue, because I mean, if it meant this much to me and if it meant that much to everybody else as well, there's no way we can't stop this show, or rather there's no way we can stop the show. There you go. that was the reverse.
That was the official way of saying we're done.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just changed my mind to screw you all. Bye, click.
And that's just it. It's like the benefit that Tales has had since Ag started it is the fact that it kind of flows with different hosts. It's been like that since the beginning. It's
like Doctor Who of podcasts.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. It's like this show is kind of made by the people who play it and can fit into it. And it's like, since the idea is just kind of to have fun with it, that's why it works. Like, I've always seen that as that's why it works. It's just like, yeah, it's just fun. We're just chatting about a game we like or a series we like, because it doesn't even always involve just Elder Scrolls Online. It's, you know, some of the other games, for better or worse, in the series that some of us play. But yeah. So no, I think that's actually been a long time strength of this show because of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's been so many people involved. It's insane.
Yeah, well,
and now you've got a new one.
Yes, now we have a new consistent host, and we'll be able to actually hear from some of the hosts afterwards as well, because more hint at coming. So,
for the Mr. I Hate Teases, that was a good one.
Yeah, see, look, I've already learned how to do teases just in this episode so far. Boom, done. What do you call it? Do you want to, I know this one actually was a little more with you in the community. Do you want to do Blood Eyes too?
Yeah. So, okay, this is from one of my favorite Australian people. Congratulations to Tales of Tamriel for 300 episodes. I have listened to every single one. In fact, when I started listening, I was playing on PlayStation 4, where I'd been since the console launch. And after chatting to Ag on Twitter, he convinced me to move across to PCNA, even though I'm Australian, which I did in early 2016 and have been ever since. He did that to me too. I started on PCEU with, you know, people on my proper time zone. And then Ag convinced me to move to PCNA, and I spent the next several years being up at 5 a.m. doing dungeons and raids and role-playing with people from North America on their time zone. So Ag is one of the reasons why I have messed up sleep schedule. There you go. He helped me set up my...
me. I like
Making a difference is what you should say, Ag.
He helped me set up my add-ons and adapt to playing on a controller on the PC server. I have so much gratitude for folks from those days who welcomed me into Tales Guild, including Ag, Avi, Ark, and my first ever Trials lead, Kilted. How Kilted, very Kilted. I wanna hear from him sometime. I'm gonna poke him on Discord. So there is one line from Kilted I remember when he was leading the Itherian Archive raid. At some point, he, I guess, didn't remember one of the mechanics, and he just said, well, there's something you shouldn't be doing, and if you do, it's your fault, don't come at me, and that was it. That was the whole dungeon raid explanation from him. And then we somehow got through it, I don't know. For those around in those times, who can forget the drinking and fishing events? The events in which all Ark ever did was jump onto objects and ignore what the rest of us were doing. That is true. I didn't fish at all.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ag didn't fish at all either, because all Ag did was run after Nirnroot. At some point, the entire event
Nirnroot
turned into trying to get to Nirnroot before Ag did and drop a cake on it so he couldn't pick it up. 20 of us running just to do this. But yeah,
I love it.
Those drinking and fishing times was definitely one of my favorite. I mean, I was up at 6, 7 a.m. my time, which, you know, I didn't need to drink at all. I was drunk due to sleep deprivation. And everybody else was drunk by nature, by drinking. And it was... we did more like naked dancing, posing, going after Nirnroot, fighting guards than fishing. That's...
naked Nords were the thing. And do you still remember when they gave us the Valentine's Day templates?
Oh yeah,
Galsner standing behind ours.
Yes,
Galsner and I have the Titanic pose with each other's naked Nord characters while we were supposed to be doing fishing, and yeah, they were definitely one of the best times I had in ESO. Anyway, I have such a special place in my heart for this podcast, and more importantly, this community. I've been here for so many years and will be for so many more. Egelos, Avi, Ark, and Lotus, you always have been amazing hosts. Listening is something I look forward to each week. Love you all. We love you too, Blood Eye. You're amazing. And now I remember those events, and we should do like a old-timer reunion at some point. Just try to get everyone back
several people who be like, I'll reinstall ESO for drunk fishing.
Right. Also, hi, Blood Eye, because she's in chat.
Oh, there you are. Hey. Right on time.
Chat up.
So many people in chat that we get to see again. So, yeah, that was a great memory. So I love that.
I still have like a 1.5-minute video for those drinking and fishing events. I'm gonna link
your
it on
trailer
Discord.
You made?
Yeah, the trailer. Yeah,
I should find the trailer.
I forgot about that.
I was gonna say I remember that from back in the day. I remember seeing that video. I forget which of you showed me that.
I'm gonna find it and link it. Also, Lotus, you should take away because I'm gonna start coughing in a bit.
Okay, that works.
Tales of Tamriel. Well, how did it go? It was tales of heroism, tales of adventure, tales of fishing.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Nice.
All right, so let's see. Going farther down, this one is from another person hanging out with us in chat. Gone Crazy back soon. So Gone Crazy's message is running content and hanging out during Extra Life with all of you has always been a blast. A fond memory from the past year, which this was a pretty entertaining one, was Lotus's stream, and the internet completely tanked, which for whatever reason, I think it was hour like 22 of the charity marathon. For whatever reason, I didn't lose internet at my house. I lost internet through my laptop specifically. So it cut out, and since I was routing the PlayStation through it, it dropped too. So it just cut me out, and I just dropped and had no idea what was going on in the middle of a Black Rose run. That was the context for it. And leaving Gwen the Bard and I laughing and also very dead because I came back to it. And it was just like, I was dead off to the side. I was in like 70 AoEs off to the side. And the two of them were just like laughing and like, what happened to you, while they were desperately trying to kill time to not wipe the round. But I just totally went dark. I had no idea what was going on in the stream or anything like that. And only hiccup during the entire stream. It was just when we tried to do something even remotely challenging, that's when everything was like, nah, we're good here. And it just nuked me entirely. So this next one is actually from new friends of the show, although it's made up from, I was going to say both in chat currently, Gwen the Bard, Never Separate, as well as Gone Crazy Back Soon, a new ESO podcast that's actually formed that they've been doing. So it's called the Snug Podcast.
Which is amazing.
Oh, I love that.
I am
very clever name.
Aggressively angry that I didn't come up with that name for a podcast.
Yes.
It's so perfect.
And
wait, what was it?
Oh, and Sasquatch as
Snug
well,
Podcast.
just so I name everybody from the show. So, all right. The thing about the show, which I wanted to shout out because it's from the PlayStation side of things, because they are a PlayStation podcast. Woo!
Yeah!
They actually, so their recording method is from in-game. They actually go to the Snug Pod house that they have decorated.
Love
and
it.
the group of them, that's how they record, is within the Snug Pod. So that is
hence
just
the
name
brilliant.
for it. It's very clever.
I freaking love it.
Yep. And since all of them are basically individual listeners and friends of the show, the time we completely broke you all on stream by reversing the first letter of every word in the chat, resulting in the chat basically completely imploding on itself, which that seriously went on for like 15 minutes where nobody could do anything without inverting the letters in chat, which I learned people are very good at using really odd spellings to portray what they're trying to say very quickly. It's like Pig Latin, where I just can't do that. Man, people are real fast on typing when they're messing up there, because I was like, what is happening? How is everybody so good at this without practicing? But,
So funny.
Yeah, it was a very amusing situation. I forget what episode that was, but that was a while back. That was very, very funny. Another friend of the show, the Red Diamond Courier, who we actually had mentioned earlier, Bob Chasinski and Dogged Bark. Congrats, guys. Our favorite moment was when we were on Tales of Tamriel. Is that actually too conceited? And I actually responded, no, don't worry about it. It was super great when I got to join originally, too. And then they said, no, but for real, you all always have great episodes and stories. Who can forget Lotus's Tales of Frustration through the Elder Scrolls Arena, which is several things, including Slaps, who still wants me to do a speed run of Arena because he's a monster.
How do you speedrun Arena? It's like a tortoise race.
Yeah, actually, I found out that if I make it to 17th on the leaderboard, I only need to do it in, I believe the 17th person on like the listed boards, because I think 20 people have probably beaten Arena. Number 17 is like 17 minutes, and I'm like, what?
Oh
How?
my god.
And
It
it
gotta
turned,
just be a crazy glitch.
I totally know how to do it too. So theoretically, I could make a run for it because I actually do know how to do what they did. It involves grabbing an item in a certain way a whole bunch of times, which sounds pretty easy until you realize how fucking complicated it is to grab anything in Arena because nothing works. Yeah, and then they just said, here's to another 300. So thank you, Red Diamond Courier. If anybody doesn't know, definitely check them out. They are
awesome dudes,
kind of the PvP side of things. And, longtime friends of the show from over at Robots Radio.
And we just announced Bob as the main host from now on.
That's true. And then Bob is the main host. It's canon. So all the things are being, all the things pretty much being revealed here. Let's see. T-Dub Cobra, also in chat. I feel like all of you are in chat here who basically aren't working. The joy and laughter of all the hosts while listening at work. You guys have really helped me get through some tough days. Love supporting Lotus of Doom's Extra Life streams and getting the Elsewhere coin giveaway, which I was very glad that out of all the the shipping problems I encountered getting people things, I'm very glad yours arrived. I think, some obnoxiousness aside, I'm glad most people have gotten their stuff, and those that couldn't, I'm glad I was able to at least get you digital something else. Just because, oh boy, shipping is not only expensive, it's also really unreliable, I learned this last year.
Literally last weekend, I just finished the last physical reward from our Extra Life of last year, which was December. I literally just got, because it's just been a nightmare trying to send stuff out.
I believe that.
Yikes. All right, I'll do this one, and then Ark, if you want to grab the last one, because I saw you put that one in, so that one's easier for you to do. This one is from again, butchering is a form of... Okay, Mkari12, perfect, because I was going to say, butchering is a form of saying I appreciate you, because I can't say any words. But Mkari12 put... this was tagged to me specifically, so it was just Lotus of Doom, listening to the podcast for years now, including during a recent pregnancy and maternity leave. I can confirm that Tales of Tamriel is a near guaranteed way to calm down my 10-week-old, which is the best compliment I think I've ever been given. Also, the most confusing.
I'll say a lot of things about Tales of Tamriel. I'm not sure I'd ever call it calming.
Agreed.
I know, right?
Agreed.
But if it works, I mean, I'm happy because we do record for several hours, so that definitely...
They just get
Now
used
Lotus
to
needs
the
to be
lull
really
of it.
family friendly. He's got like infants.
My assumption is that the little one will grow up to love death metal because of loud sounds. So that's got to be the crossover. But here's to another 300 episodes. Seriously, though, you can't stop. So very much appreciated, and there is no plans to stop the show.
Except for Ag's is gone.
I just went into the world of
into the
Elden Ring.
That was the greatest effect I think I've ever seen.
He even did like
It looked like he walked off the ledge of the picture.
he even
I'm
turned
pretty
around
sure
to
though he
look
had
at the
earpods in, so
camera.
he's listening to us.
Oh, man.
All you
Visual humor.
listeners, seriously, you guys should look up the video or go on Twitch and watch the past video because it was amazing. It was so
Full did a
funny.
Truman Show exit. He just even turned around to the camera.
Oh, that was great.
So there was one in chat from Ugo as well that I'm gonna get to before I read the last one we have in our notes at least. So Ugo said, my favorite tangent that happened on Tales is probably the episode where Gina from Zas was as a guest, and she and Pixie spent like 10 minutes talking about cars while Lotus and Ark looked like they wanted to die. We know nothing about cars, and both Gina and Pixie are gearheads, so they started talking about their cars like engines and like stuff like that. Lotus and I just like, your car go.
And I was going to say, and I'm like, the only thing I know about my car is whatever I look up when I'm fixing something that makes me mad because it's not working. Nothing is enjoyable about my car except when it does exactly what I want, so I don't have to pay attention to it.
But yeah, that was the most lost I felt, I think, on Tales ever.
It was so funny because I was recognizing what they were talking about and was like, I have zero input on any of this. Like, all of this just is like, it's like when somebody's like giving you notes for an exam. That's what I felt like was happening because I'm like, this is all stuff I just had to study to make something work. I was like, I don't know any of this. Like, I don't know what you people are talking about.
And this is from Audrey, aka Black Wolf. Hi guys, not sure if this message will be too late for episode 300. It was not. I just recently started listening to the show, though I had known about it for a while. I used to be a regular listener to the Lore Seekers ESO podcast before that ended, and after it was gone, a huge ESO podcast-shaped hole in my heart was formed. I remember that the guys on Lore Seekers mentioned how welcoming Tales of Tamriel podcast was to them and decided to try out Tales as my new ESO podcast home. And in Tales, I found exactly the kind of positivity, excitement, and passion about this game that I was looking for. I love listening to your podcast because it's like listening to friends talk about a game they love so much as they love just as much as I do. Which I especially like because I don't have many in-person friends to talk about ESO with. I feel that. None of my IRL friends play ESO. And those that do aren't really into the game or as excited about the game as I am. This podcast makes me feel more connected to the ESO community, and that's something invaluable, I think. I even started listening to the podcast from episode 1 while keeping up with the current episodes. That is a journey. That is a long journey. And I'm really enjoying it. I especially like the dramatic readings of in-game Elder Scrolls lore books that they do in the earlier episodes. Sorry this message is a bit of a marathon. Not at all. Thank you for everything that you do. That is sweet. And I definitely feel the part of not having in-person friends to talk about ESO. Where are all the people that play ESO in real life? I do not know.
Yeah, for
I
real.
have people
In
who are
Canada.
addicted to World of Warcraft, Star Wars The Old Republic, some like Guild Wars, Final Fantasy. No one plays ESO. How is...
Yeah.
But a lot of people play
I have
ESO.
so many ESO
Right.
friends, but none of them are here. Or at least
They're
where
less-
I'm at.
Yeah, I feel like
It's
they're less
weird.
loud about it.
Yeah, which is
That
weird.
seems to be
Yeah.
what the situation is. Also, we had one more actually from chat from Shantyman that I actually wanted to snag real quick. From the early era, I can say era. That's a word I can totally pronounce. It's definitely only 3 letters. From the early era, the reaction to Thais' reaction
You
to
can do
Agella
it, Lotus.
surprising her by having Nate join her in the reading of the Lusty Argonian Maid, which, yeah, the dramatic reading bit. Oh my God, the Lusty Argonian Maid bit. That's like
That
me
is
with the
something
36
that happened in
lessons
the past
section.
of the show, yes.
Exactly. Yes, it is a note in history. And
It
then
is.
it is. I love how it is.
Well, actually, I'm going to hop off of here, guys. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to say goodbye. Congratulations on 300. You guys are all
Bye,
fantastic.
Jellos.
I need to
Thank
hop out a little
you.
early.
No worries.
Man, it was great
Appreciate
to have
you as always. You are the reason
Yeah.
all of this is still continuing.
Heck
So
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks, Daddy.
I'm sorry to subject you all to that. So
Agellos
kind of goes either way at
formally-
times.
Agellos is now formally ESO Daddy. It's ESO Podcast Daddy.
Wow.
I accept
New
the moniker,
name.
and I will keep that.
There it is. That's your new Twitter tag.
Copyright.
I'm actually thinking about changing it right now. I'm thinking about changing in the DCN
ESO
Twitter.
Podcast Daddy.
Wow.
ESO Podcast Daddy. I love it.
Wow.
All right, guys, you're awesome. See ya.
See ya. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us, buddy. This is going to make our cameras, now we're all horrifying. Look,
It's gonna be the best.
Just disable the overlay, I guess.
you're
wait
both
for
half
it.
people.
Wait for it. I hope it like cuts us and like blends us together. So like half of Doc's face is now half of my face, and
Nope, I'm going to...
so it can be like
I'm gonna-
semi-pretty.
Lotus and
finally.
Pylon is fine, but Doc
We're
and
totally
I are...
fine. We're shrinking you two, and we're fixed, right? We're fixed? No, we're not fixed. Ark, you're really not fixed.
Just
Why are you not fixed? This is great for audio listeners. I hope everybody's
just
liking
leave
this
it
bit.
just leave it as is. It's fine. We'll figure it out.
All right, there we go. This is mostly fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
You're just slightly askew, Ark. Damn it. There we go.
We're square now. You can just get rid of the overlay and just expand the video.
Well,
Just leave it as is.
It
It's
looks
fine. We're
like
just gonna leave it as
there's
is.
like
We can
a
enjoy
Brady
that.
Bunch
It's
going on.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Just make sure
and then
Doc looks good.
The other half, that's right. The other half of Shantyman's is from more recent times. The discussion regarding incentivizing players was fantastic. Which that was a personal episode that I really liked. I
That was a
had a
great
lot of fun
episode,
with
yeah.
that one. Yes. So and that's kind of like just as a universal shout out to all of the guests on that note. to everybody who has joined, really appreciate it. As you leading this is not necessarily something I was intending for at any point. So like I kind of had an idea that I wanted to do something for the show. And the only reason it worked so well was because so many awesome guests were able to join me and give different perspectives on everything. So just kind of as a personal shout out, thank you everybody who has joined. I'd list you all off, but that would be another episode's worth. Thank yous. So definitely, if this is your first episode of Tales of Tamriel, check out the previous ones, and we will, there's so many different guests that we've had and recurring guests and stuff like that. So, it's all greatly, greatly appreciated.
Mm-hmm. So before we move on, I want to hear what we have as our favorite moments. So Pylon, Doc, do you have a favorite moment from Tales that have? I feel like Pylons is already covered with the Tales of Heroin, but
I was gonna say Pylon. Little did I know, Pylon is actually one of the many that apparently had the same favorite moment.
Doc, do you have any?
Oh shoot, I don't know because
She
I've
doesn't
been
like the
listening.
show.
She could pull a Red Diamond Courier and just be like, "Yeah, when I'm on."
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously,
Episode 300 is actually my favorite moment from the podcast.
Yes. No. So because I've been listening, I think the very first episode I ever listened to was.
I love trying to think back to these.
Gosh, seriously, like over 6 years ago, real. Because I was pregnant with my son at the time. So, and he's 6 now. So it was almost 7 years ago. But yeah, that's crazy. But I think, son of a gun, I just hit my elbow.
See, and this is you're already classing up the show because the first thing you say, son of a gun, I assure you that's not what I would have said had I hit my arm on the table.
I don't know. There's too many because I listened for so long. I miss Promethean's Argonian.
I do too.
That was one of my favorites. I loved his Argonian voice, and
when he would read the character highlight, whatever I forget the specific name that they have.
Meet the character.
The meet the character. That's just when he would do the meet the character in his flat Argonian voice. That was prime real estate listening right there.
It was so
we miss you,
good.
Promethean.
Yeah, I miss that. Guaranir. Oh. The announcement of Guaranir. Sorry, Art, but that was seriously.
I do remember the creation of Guaranir.
So what I had to do
funny.
because I was listening because very rarely was I able to tune in live, and so I would have to go back and listen to the episode later on. And so I remember listening to it, and I think I was playing ESO at the time, so I was like half listening to it, and then I hear you talking about Guarnier. I'm like, whoa. And so I pause it, and I rewind it, and I re-listen to it, and I'm just dying. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever. And then one of our first interactions in PS4, I think, was I ran into you as Guarnier, and I was like, oh my gosh!
It was either like a world boss or a dark anger.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was world boss. It was the Murkmire event. Like,
it was during and that was just it because I was sitting there jabbing at it, and all of a sudden I see you like jumping up and down with the emotes, like waving, and I was like, oh hey, it's done. And you're like, it's Guarnier.
I was so excited. So I think that I think my favorite now is realizing why there were so many pauses when you would talk. Because seriously, like no joke, when you first joined the show, I was like, man, I love these new guests, I love these new hosts, but that Lotus guy, he really pauses a lot when he talks. Yep. Like, what is that?
Yep. A lot of people.
And I forgot about that until you guys were talking about it today. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense now.
I forget when I originally explained why that was, because I was well aware of it as like at the time, because you're always very aware of your own eccentric little things you do, like speech patterns, all of that, you'll become aware of a lot of it. And then there's some that you just get used to and other people will point out to you and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I did that so much.
Yeah.
That's one I specifically knew because it took a lot of thought to not just speak like normal. And the first time a lot of people had come to my stream specifically, as opposed to hearing me on the podcast that didn't know me beforehand or anything like that. And several people, well, there was a group of people that I do find very funny. They were like, wow, you are really censored on the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, this is my normal speech pattern. But then on top of that, a couple people brought up the fact that they're like, oh, wow, when you do like a stream of consciousness, just like speaking, they were like, you speak a lot faster. And that was when I basically told people, I was like, well, that's because I don't actually care about editing myself on my own thing. Like, it's just like, because again, it's more of a speech pattern, like just to regional dialect. Tends to drop in a decent amount of words as adjectives that are not actually adjectives. So that's the thing. And when I have to try to edit those out, it became very apparent that I had to think before I would speak. And then I was able to kind of not have to worry so much about that when we took off the super family friendly tag. And it's like, okay, well now, we'll do this. It's a lot easier to speak like that. And I still... That's the thing, is I've changed it so that I just think and I've practiced enough.
Right.
Speaking without swearing as much as I normally did. I guess even in real life, I probably swear less than I used to, just as a side effect of practicing it so much week in and week out. But at the same time, yeah, it's a very different experience. And I was real bad at it at the start. As Ark jokes that I'm like a super extrovert. Yeah, sure. Like I'll say whatever to whoever when I need somebody to respond. Like I don't really... It doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Worst case scenario, they say no, they can't help me with something. But at the same time, I didn't have any real degree of practice, like speaking consistently. So I would pause a lot. Or again, like Ag had to say, sometimes it was just like, if I wasn't good at it was like, oh, crap, I got to fucking edit all of this stuff. So I'd have to like clip them out. And then at that point you have those like awkward little blip pauses because it's like, okay, there's no word there. There's no word there. There's no word there. It's like, so that's just it. So yeah, that's pretty funny to hear that was something that was noted.
Because that was like, what, a couple years ago, like when you joined, right?
Yeah. This is going into my fourth year. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm like, I'm just learning this now. So it's like, I open it, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, behind the scenes of tales.
I think when we first started like lifting family friendliness per episode was when Lotus started playing classic Elder Scrolls games. Then we kind of started like giving a disclaimer at the beginning, like this is not going to be a family-friendly show, or we are going to give a warning throughout the show that when, things are not going to be family-friendly. And eventually it started becoming like every episode anyway. So I was like,
because I was playing through Arena and Shadowkey and Battlespire. And people kept like saying, even during those, people were like, just like say whatever you're going to say, because like watching you spaz out try to play these games is entertaining. I'm like, well, good, because even though this stuff is fun, holy crap, is it frustrating. Like these games are archaic. And then I could have made my life easier if I looked anything up, but doing them without actually looking anything up because I knew people enjoyed like me fumbling my way through them poorly. I was like, well, then whatever. I will go in totally clueless on how to play these games and we'll just see how long it takes me to piece it together. The answer was a long time. I had to learn what THAC0 was from D&D, which is really confusing when your armor needs to go down so that you can actually defend better because it's a chance to avoid taking damage. When people in chat, which I appreciate, explained the idea of THAC0 to me, I was just like, okay, so the negative number being bigger is good. And they're just like, yeah, just go with that. I was like, perfect. That's what I need to hear right now.
Man.
How about you, Ark?
Yeah.
The one that pops in there's a couple that pops into my head immediately. I mean, obviously, every time like I got to interact with Tails in earlier episodes, like every time they read my email or followed me on Twitter or invited me or replied to me in chat, every single time, I remember them, and they were like, I always felt, oh wow, they replied, or oh wow, they followed me. I was sending screenshots to my friends. I remember doing that when Tales of Tamriel account. Back then it was like, well, it still is Tales of Tamriel on Twitter. My brain broke there for a second. I felt like there was a different account. But when that first followed me, I screenshotted that, cropped that, and just sent it to my friends like,
Aww.
they followed me.
I love that.
So,
And they're like, what's Elder Scrolls?
Shut up! Don't take away my moment.
and same like when they read my email and whatnot, I would just clip that part and send it to my friends. So they were really, really great moments. And I honestly didn't think I would end up here, but here we are. Ag tricked me into all of this, and then I learned how he did it, and I did it to Lotus, and then Lotus learned how to do it, and now he's doing it to you, Doc. Just a spoiler. you have now sold your soul.
It's true. There was a contract.
Yeah.
I witnessed it.
That's implying there was one to begin
Oh,
with.
It's true. My first interaction with Doc ever, I will famously point
Oh
out,
my god!
involved her threatening me with cannibalism.
yeah. What?
This isn't even a joke.
Nope.
This is legitimately the first Twitter message I ever got
I've
from
seen
Doc was
So
a threat with.
dramatic. Did you screenshot it and send it to Lotus?
Sure did. Sure did. I was his witness in case it ever actually happened.
Okay. My main, that's not really a main anymore, sad face, is a wood elf. I had posted or retweeted something the UESP had done about wood elves and how they're in it for the party and everything. And I retweeted because I was like, this is why I love Whoop Bosmer. And then he commented or sent me a message about how, I don't even remember. But it was
we were
about
talking
how,
about the Green Pact, because I think it was the Green Pact episode of the UASP podcast where we discussed that. And you're like, this is why. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. and it was banter back and forth, and I guess at one point I threatened that I was like, you don't watch, I'm gonna have you over for dinner. And you know
it was something like that. It was something like, I'll have to invite you over for dinner. I'm like, is that a threat? And now she's a host on Tales of Tamriel.
Nope.
So
obviously I didn't scare you that much because you invited me to be the co-host with you. So
yeah, exactly.
I think you liked the little bit of fear aspect there. So
Gotta keep everybody on their toes.
exactly.
Lotus,
Scrolls
Ark,
is
consider
dark,
this your
so-
warning.
Yes.
No, but I'm really glad that Doc's joining Tales, because it was hard to like admit to myself that I couldn't do the podcast anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Doc and I kind of dragged, and I'm just like, I've got like with a new job,
Yeah.
I have 3 kids here. Like, it's just like, I was like, it's just so hard to keep doing the podcast, and I wanted to keep doing it, and I knew I couldn't, but I was like, but I don't want it to go on. So it's like a little part of me. It's like you guys have like taken the heart from the UESP podcast and transplanted it into Tales.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you had said, like how, you weren't going to be able to continue the show. At first I was super sad, obviously, because we're good co-hosts, you're my partner. And, but I totally understood, and I was super excited about you getting the new job. And then you had asked me, would you be interested in taking on UESP? And I was like, let me think about it, because I had a lot of real life stuff going on too, but it's kind of the same like for you, Ark, where I was like, this has to continue to go on. Like I loved doing UESP, I loved doing the podcast, and I loved our community. And so I was really racking my brain. I was like, how could I do this? Like, how could I continue it on? So I told Tyler, I was like, yes, I'll do it, but I got to think about how and have a co-host or something. And so my first initial thought was co-host was Lotus. Like that was like my first thought.
Because you should just co-host every podcast,
because we've
every
already
other
done
podcast.
like crossover episodes and everything, and plus I was like, PS4.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we have domination now and everything. And so I thought about that, but it was so funny because I was planning on talking to Pylon one evening, and that morning the idea had popped in. I was like, what about, UESP and Tales merging? Because I also knew that Lotus was already doing 2 shows, like with Lorecast and then Tales. I was like, I doubt
You don't have a real job, right? You just do this.
He was gonna want to do a 3rd show, and so when I talked to Pylon that night, I was like, I've got a few ideas about co-hosts, and he was like, what do you think about Tales and UESP merging? I was like, oh my god. I was literally just thinking about that this morning. And so it was so crazy. So I'm happy that the UESP can continue on, because I mean that the UESP meant so much to me because I never even imagined, like I was part of it for a year and I absolutely loved it, and I love the community and I love all the people who've listened. And so I'm excited. Plus, I mean, just the UESP as a whole, we've all used it. At some point in our lives playing a game, like we've all used it. And so I'm excited that, like we can continue this on. And like I said, on the 200th episode, seriously, like it was always kind of like a dream. I was like, man, I would love to do something like what Tales of Tamriel did. Like never in a million years would I have imagined that I'd actually get to join Tales, and so that just is so cool, so awesome, so surreal. And so I'm very excited. But yeah.
And you're not getting rid of me because now that I don't have to do all the work, I can just show up and be a guest.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Because you don't get to escape entirely. You still have to come back from time to time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, whenever you
And
have
I'd love
time.
to.
You can come over for dinner.
Now that you guys aren't doing it at like 3 a.m, I can actually show up sometimes.
I know, right? I feel
And I get to sleep at night.
Very, very true.
You all read the clause in the contract that said no AD banners in the cameras, though, right? That was clear.
you'll have to-
I thought for sure you were going to cut off my picture because that's usually what we've done in the past. So I will
love
remedy
that.
that.
That was a funny episode when you were just editing out AD
All
propaganda.
my different flags.
I made Pylon knock
Don't
his
worry.
camera down, and
And then
I
my
felt
camera
so
just like
bad.
took off across. Like I cranked that camera. Like I'm not even joking. That one was so funny because I was like trying to like adjust the camera, and I think I made it like a big show of it too. And I was like, well, I can do this to try to like move my camera. I just knocked it like a good 3 feet off the top of my monitor.
I felt so
I have
bad.
a UESP banner that will go here, so
Oh,
no more
nice.
yellows. So yes,
Okay, I
I
can-
was
I
trying
can
to
get
figure out
that.
where it was supposed to go, and I'm like, wait a
Perfect.
second.
Perfect.
There we go.
This is all gonna fail as soon as you have Avron on as a guest. She's just gonna
Yeah, I
like.
know. When Avron comes on, there's
Faceless
so
is
much
like
propaganda.
calling an AD lawyer. I'm so sorry, Faceless.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. Faceless is a longtime friend from from the APF guild, which
Yes,
is
hail.
funny because when I joined that guild back way back, I originally was like, look, I don't know about the name of this thing, and Neo, who's one of my teammates from the Thracian Slayers, was like, dude, it's just a name. Don't worry about it. I was like, all right, because I won't fight with you guys in Cyrodiil right now. I'm telling you. He's like, I know you won't. I listen to the show. And it's because APF stands for the Aldmeri People's Front.
Yep.
So
When you invited me to it, I was skeptical. I was
Yeah.
like, how is Lotus inviting me to an Aldmeri guild?
I was
Like, what is this?
right. And that was just it. I was like, all right, as long as we're all on the same page that I'm not fighting with you in the Three Banners War, that's fine. But yeah, so no, this has been very amusing. Well, also I the only thing is, which, I had mentioned how much I appreciate being on the show myself when I joined, but I didn't remember what episode I joined on. I knew it was about 3 years ago, and that was really the only vague context I had, but I was asked, like, oh, when did you start podcasting for them? And I was like, I have no idea. And so I looked and I was like, I wonder if this was like how far in this was, because it was the Cult of Guar. And I was like, I wonder how long. And that, like I said, that was the episode apparently I joined on, was the episode, the Cult of Guar. I was like, ooh, I came in swinging. But the thing that I really still appreciate from both Ag and you, Ark, was way back when I listened, because I've been a listener since episode 1. I found the show at episode like 10 or something like that. But I have gone back and listened to the previous, but I've listened to all of the episodes. But I would talk with you guys over, Twitter or something like that. And whenever I had time, I would try to catch the live show. When that became a thing, because originally it wasn't even a thing. Like, the live show sort of was a thing, and then sort of wasn't a thing. And then, so I had talked a little bit with you, and both you and Ag actually kind of found out about the Extra Life thing tangentially from, I guess, at some point similar, you guys followed me. I was like, what the hell? The podcast I listen to follows me? That's weird. I was like, I don't know how to process this. And you started basically sort of unprompted helping promote my Extra Life efforts just because you were both like, this is a great cause. Like, I'm so glad to see like video games being used for something good. And I was like, oh man, that's like super awesome. And then, prior to me being on the show, there were a few episodes where you literally with that just were like, oh, do you care if we like mention your charity drive? And I was like, oh, sure. Like, so I was mentioned as a result of that before I had anything to do with the show myself. And then when I came on to guest, that was super fun. It was weird to have to listen to myself, which I still don't like, but I've gotten used to it more, I guess.
Yeah.
I still don't like it.
You get used to your own voice, and it's like,
yeah, I don't care for it. But like that was really neat. And like I said, it was funny just because I remember several guests talked over the audio, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to make that mistake, because I remember listening to a few episodes before I was on to refresh on the format specifically so I wouldn't fuck it up when I was on. I was like really concerned about botching the way the show was done. So like that was pretty entertaining. And the only other thing, which you and I, while we were setting up all of this stuff prior to the show, one thing I kind of want to just bring a note to from the personal side of stuff. It's great. I love listening to podcasts, hence why so many of you in the community, when you have podcasts, I'm all for them because I like listening to them. It's super a great way to pass the time, so I understand. Which is why, as long as I'm capable of doing this show, I would like to keep doing this show for people. Because, again, that's a substantial part of my work day. So when people have work reasons or, personal reasons why this show matters to them, I don't want that to have to go away. Like, it kind of have us be a staple there. But to all of the people who notice the show, myself, whatever, from in-game and either make jokes in chat or send me messages or whispers or whatever, I don't know if you quite understand how cool that is from this side of the mic, because it's kind of surreal that you kind of speak out into a void like this. And like, we've got chat hanging out with us, and there's a bunch of you here with us, and it's super fun, and we all get to talk to each other. But like, when you look at download numbers or views on videos, and you're like, that's a lot more people than I'm like coherently talking to. It's really, really weird, for lack of a better word, to get used to. Like, it's strange because some of you know me and I might not know you. And from the other side of being a listener for so long, I know exactly what that is. So it's like, it's weird when I was like, oh, this is just like some people who like talking about a thing that's similar. Like, that's literally what it is. We just got microphones and started talking about it. There's nothing else to it. Like, it's Arc fixes all the technical problems with editing. But like, it's just us talking. And so many of you have sent me like really nice things on the game from PlayStation, and like I have a lot of them screenshotted because they've made my day many times. And some of them have been exceptionally funny because, again, I tend, unless you're being intentionally malicious, I like good jokes, especially like when you're razzing me for something. And I've had some really funny ones from Cyrodiil where I have been trucked by like a Zerg and just completely raffle stomped. And one of my favorite ones was there were a couple listeners of the show who were just like, "Are you Lotus from Tales?" And I was like, "Yup." They were like, "Dude, we just fucking smashed your Zerg." I was like, "Dude, there is nobody left in my group that even wants to go back to that keep right now." And they were just like, "Great show, by the way." And I'm like, that's hilarious. Like,
thanks.
Yeah, but it was like so funny because I was like, that's really, really amusing to me. Like, I just thought that was super funny. And it was just like, and I've been in Zergs with like people in Cyrodiil where they're like, "Wait, do you have a podcast?" I was like, "I do. Yes, I'm part of a podcast." Yep. So it's just like, that stuff is all just really cool. So just know that going back, I also appreciate all this stuff because as much as we kind of help with various things, I guess, and it definitely has helped me with things, vice versa, back on you listeners, because it's really cool. Like, it's really cool, and it keeps doing all of this a lot of fun, which also makes it a lot easier to keep wanting to do it. So yeah, that's kind of my bit on memory stuff from it.
I mean, the community is the reason we are not getting burned out on doing this.
Correct.
Like, I've got burned out of ESO so many times, took several months breaks here and there, but not doing Tales. And if I stop playing ESO completely, or if I stop playing Elder Scrolls completely, if they never, come up with a new game or whatever, I feel
2050, like, guys, 2050.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just need to keep Tales going until 2050. That's it. But like,
piece of cake.
If there is no Elder Scrolls game to play, or if I just don't play them for whatever reason, I feel like I can still do Tales and talk Elder Scrolls and talk about everything that we do and love, and that's because of the community. It's now, for me at least, separate from the games. Like, it's a whole, it's its own thing. So,
and it's
we are
why,
gonna be around.
Right? It's why also it's kind of funny that a lot of people, when they refer to like, "Oh, your show or Arc's show or whatever," I'm like, yeah, Ag started a show. And it became a community show.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what this is. Like, it is not really, even though we technically run it right now, it could theoretically go on if any of us can't continue. In fact, we had that weird thing where, like, for a while we couldn't sync up times with you because you were working 1 billion hours a week, Arc. And it's like, oh, yep, no, it's just, okay, now Lotus is just running things. But it's like, okay, you were at no point like, oh, yeah, Arc just did. And it's like, if Pixie were to get back into the game or something, it's like nobody's like ever gone for good, because everybody I've had the pleasure of interacting with, at least, has been nothing but awesome. So like, I wouldn't really think that there's any reason to not, but it's like, that's just it. It's like, this kind of became a community podcast, and we just happen to be the ones spearheading it for the time being until somebody else needs to take on the torch to keep it going. So.
And
all right, well,
on that
sappy.
note, we do have some,
before somebody cries.
we do have some messages from said people who got involved in the shows past. Actually, they sent some audio clips and videos. Well, we are probably not going to be able to play the videos, but we have the audios.
It'll be a
that's-
miracle if I can get the audios to work.
Well, if you just double click on them on the drive, that should just play them. But yeah, these. So we got Esteldian, who was one of the original co-hosts before episode 100. We got Avi, who was for one of the longest co-hosts, which I miss Avi so much. We used to play PUBG and everything before, time zones screwed up everything. Freaking time zones. We obviously got Pixie, Braun, Promethean, the fan favorite Argonian, of course. Oh, actually, do you remember
Argonian
how
representation?
do you remember how Promethean got attacked by a ghost after he broke my heart about the Nords?
Yes, the pot in the background just fell off his thing arbitrarily and shattered in his sink. He was just talking, and he's like, "Lux is right next to me. What just picked up the pot and broke it in my sink?" He's like, "My cat is literally right here."
See,
Yep,
it
was
happened
my
because he broke my
God.
heart. I thought he was
With a sound
EP
effect to go with
and
it.
like Nords all the time, and suddenly he says, "Well, I got something to say. I am AD," and moments later, something breaks in the background by itself. So
Well, it's because he was like, "Oh yeah, I started EP," and then shifted off too, and you're like, "Oh dear God!" It's also, because we're hyper professional, and I have too many screens open, Ark, you want to just post that link to the Google Drive in the actual show notes real quick? That'd be great. Because I definitely closed that window and now can't find it.
there you go.
Perfect. Beautiful. I would like
Tails
to open it.
way.
Yep, there have been minimal explosions. All right, let's hope this actually works when I play this audio. And if not, I guess we'll just have to try to figure out how to fix this afterwards.
I'll
Let's
have
see
to
if
listen
this
to it from
works.
the stream since we are not going to
Yeah.
Just
so-
get unmute too.
Let me know if this actually plays through, and if it doesn't, we'll have to figure something else out. Why don't we start with Promethean, since we were just talking about it, and see how it goes.
Sure.
See if this works.
Hey everyone, Promethean here. Just stopping by to say happy 300th episode. I really can't believe it's already been so long. It kind of just feels like yesterday that we were recording episode 200. I miss you all a lot, and I'm honestly really excited to see where the future of this show goes and where the future of Elder Scrolls Online goes. But until then, I'll see you all in High Isle.
Thank you, Promethean. That was... Okay, perfect. This didn't blow up. Amazing. That's very Untails. I think that's USP seeping in here and fixing stuff.
So the situation with Promethean is he's all good. He's just super busy with life since he graduated. Well, first he got busy with graduating, and now he's busy with life after graduating.
Right.
So-
Which is, surprise, not less busy.
Yeah. So all is good for with him for anyone who was concerned, because we got some messages that they were missing Promethean and was wondering if he's okay. He's okay. He's just super busy, and I'm super looking forward to the day we can just lure him back into the show. We'll see. We are
You can still
poking him
find him
every
on
now
Twitter.
and then. Yeah.
You can still find him on Twitter, and I know he checks in with our Discord, but I'm pretty sure he still uses Discord as well. So yeah, I was gonna say send Promethean nice things. All right, so why don't we go? You know what? Why don't we do we'll do the other new host. This is obviously Hyperpixie, who was a host for a long time as well with us, until she kind of stepped away just to do some other stuff with life and expand out into some other games and stuff like that. But we have Pixie and Braun actually, because as we brought up, found each other from ESO and are now engaged and getting married.
Yep.
So
In
I was gonna say
2 weeks or something crazy. It's soon.
yeah,
so
Yes,
very
just
soon.
happened.
Yes. Yeah. So here's Pixie and Braun with their snippet they sent in for us as well.
Hey everybody, it's Pixie.
And Braun Solo.
Happy 300th Tales. It was amazing to have been a part of it.
Yes, happy 300th episode. I said 300th weird. I don't know why I'm doing that, but...
It's because we're recording, that's why.
Oh, well. We haven't done that in a while.
Exactly. But always remember that no matter what Ark and Lotus tell you, the Aldmeri Dominion is the best faction for the Queen. And elves.
And of course, they had to get in some heresy.
Yeah, I forgot to edit the last 10 seconds out.
Yep, I forgot about that. I was like, damn it, we were supposed to cut off the last 8 seconds of that.
Even after leaving the show, she's still sneaking in her AD spy propaganda.
Unbelievable, and I don't like the chat is agreeing. Shameful.
That reminds me of Pixie's inability to stay silent for 10 seconds.
Yeah. It's not
I
a
don't know
thing.
if people remember that, but Misfit says audio is breaking.
Wait, is it still being weird?
I just restarted my audio engine. If that's not, I don't know if that's gonna fix it or not. But
Nah,
that's why we
we'll
have
figure it
our
out.
backup recordings.
That's
on
why
top
we have
of backup
all
recordings.
Yes,
All
exactly.
50 different recordings.
There's so many recordings to make sure this doesn't explode.
But yeah, at some point I asked, like, I used to do 10 seconds of silence before we start the show.
Never happened.
Never happened because
Never happened.
it almost happened at some point, and just as I said greetings wary, and Pixie just blew up in laughter for whatever reason I do not remember.
Also, we should have picked up on that from Hazard quicker. He was like, no, the joke is for Pixie's audio. We should have just said, it's breaking, and we should have just cut it there. Squandered our own opportunity.
I even made that joke to Pixie. But
damn it.
Yeah, that would have been clever.
Yeah. All right. So next, why don't we jump? You know what? Why don't we toss on Avi next? Have Avi's audio input because we had mentioned missing Avi.
Hello, my friends over at Tales of Tamriel. It's Avi. I just wanted to say huge congrats on making it to 300 episodes. I remember doing episode 100 and it doesn't even feel that long ago, so it really makes you think about how much time has flown by. But big congrats. I'm having a lot of fun being a listener now. I think the podcast is probably better than it's ever have with the current host. You guys are all amazing. So keep it up, keep doing what you're doing, and big congrats on 300.
Thanks, Avi. He was basically one of the OGs that I remember listening to for the longest period of time, where I just always considered Avi as like a main host. So,
he had to stop, if I remember correctly, not because of leaving ES or anything either, but he moved and then it was like a different time zone, and then it was a problem with like the audio stuff. But yeah, I mean, if we get the chance, I want to bring Avi back. I don't know, but he's on I think he's Pacific. I want to say Pacific, because I remember him having like 11 or 10 hours difference with me, which is why we ended up not like seeing each other online anymore.
Yeah. All right. Next, we will hit up Estellian for sending us something in as well. Thank you, Estellian. We'll toss you up next.
The OG British accent of the show.
Everyone, Estellian here. Congratulations, crew, on your 300 episodes. It's hard to believe it's been 200 episodes since I was on the show. I hope the show continues for a long time and you continue to have a lot of fun. Big shout out to all the fans who make this possible. Have a great time, guys.
That is amazing to think how far back Estellian. Like, I guess that didn't really click until he just said that. It's like, oh my god, that really was a long time ago.
That is pre-100. He was also
100. Oh my god! Like that's wow. That's also like you said, British accent. The voice callback. I was like, oh wow, yeah, that is super nostalgia for like super old episodes. It's like, oh yeah, all right, I remember.
People
Estellian
were crazy for Estellian when he spoke. His voice was really great.
Yeah.
We recently played New World as well, and I was really looking forward to that. And I had plans to lure him into our New World podcast.
Right.
Like I was planning it, and then New World just blew up, so that never happened.
Rip.
Hey, maybe one day they'll pull in ESO and actually balance stuff back out again.
I hope so.
Yep. Fingers crossed for him. All right, so we've got Deltia, who another OG show guest or a host for a while. He came on as a guest and then became a co-host for a long time. And I still remember when I was talking to him, like I used his guides for VMA, and I remember prior to me doing the torture casts of I'm playing through old games, listening to him slog his way through one of the original clears of VDSA in the Vet Dragon Star Arena, when that place was as hard as the game got.
He had a solo build. He had I remember, it was like a Dragon Knight Dunmer Vampire or something that soloed VDSA back in the day.
Right, because I remember for a long time his team was just getting wrecked in there because it was like, no one has cleared this. And it was like, oh God, this is so brutal. And then they finally got the clear, and it became like, and it's much like if you listen to us going through our stuff over the years, it's like, oh, I got the hard mode. Then it became, I got the trifecta. Then it became, I got the perfecta and stuff like that. And very much that started kind of with Deltia, who was like, oh my God, this place is so brutal. And then it was like, okay, we got this place on a pretty good farm mode. Okay, now I'm basically soloing this place. It's like, dude, the jump in skill. So yeah, here is Deltia.
300 episodes in. Welcome back, and it's Deltia from DeltiasGaming.com. I used to be a co-host on Tales of Tamriel, and some of the funnest times I've ever had in and out of the game is talking about ESO, seeing how it's really progressed over the years. And I think the best part about the game is it's an interface for social interaction, hanging out with people, exploring the world of Nirn, Tamriel, and enjoying the game together. I remember even thinking back to like one Tamriel and discussing the impact it would have. And I really appreciate just continuing to make the podcast available to people, because it takes a lot of time and energy to put it together. And I'm one that was a co-host, now a listener, and I appreciate it. So thanks, 300, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. And maybe we'll see you at 600, 800, 1,000. Who knows? Keep up the good work.
1,000?
1,000 would be a milestone. Hold on. I want to calculate how long that would take.
Just start doing 2 shows a week. It's fine.
Yeah, great. That's all I need in my life.
Don't worry about it.
Perfect. But yeah,
fun
Deltia
fact,
has been. I'm glad he came back too.
Yeah,
because that was such a shift. He went away because he, did so much with his life to fix things and everything like that. And he's come back, and he's been a great positive influence, I feel, again since returning back to the game. And again, it's got this change to it where it's like, much like we tend to do, shying away from criticism isn't the problem. It's kind of how you phrase it. And I feel he has like a lot of good insight onto, yes, this could be a thing, whatever, this could be improved, but he still enjoys the game. It's not just like, oh my God, this is like work playing this. Like, he clearly has fun with the game again and wants to see it in a good direction. And it's like, that I feel has been like a good positive influence back on the game, especially from a lot of the PvP side of things, as he's one of the OG PvP players as well. So
also, we just need to record for another like 15 years to reach 1,000.
Great.
That's great. Fine.
Stellar.
I mean, that'll just be around the Elder Scrolls 6 release, so we can just do one episode 1,000 special. Elder Scrolls 6 is announced.
Piece of cake.
But fun fact, before I got into like streaming or podcasting or anything like that, I got inspired by DeltiasGaming.com and Deltia, and I started ArcaneersQuest.com, and basically just like tried to do what he did, and then school and whatnot got in the way, and I stopped doing that, and then I was like, well, maybe I should stream. And then around that time, Ag like got me on the cursed episode 25 that came back to haunt me for a long time in the recent episodes.
Wandering Bard for that.
Yeah, so he invited me to guest on episode 25 to like promote the website. And yeah, I used to do like articles and news and stuff like that. So that's pretty much, he kind of inspired me into starting into all of this, in at least the content creation side.
And it shows you how stuff evolves, because DCN used to do build guides and stuff like that, and now it's just evolved into like, well, it had become like, okay, it was like kind of like a podcast thing, and now it's like, okay, well, now it's a podcast thing, kind of attached to, the wiki that literally everybody uses that's ever played Elder Scrolls. So it's neat how that stuff kind of has evolved over 8 years, because again, 8 years is a long time. You don't usually talk about things in a time span like that. Like, that's not... When you say be patient with people about things, and I say that to a lot of people, it's like, well, a lot of it's patience. And when I say patience, I mean literally years of patience for things like that, which is hard to account for, because when you start talking in nearly a decade, that is a lot of time.
Yeah.
Well, guys, unfortunately, I have to hit the road. I hear the family up there waiting for me now. So it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Congrats again on episode 300. Take care of Doc for me. She's a lot of work, but she's worth it.
There you go.
Well, that's just it. So it's like, actually, this is kind of like perfect, because we'll be doing outro stuff. So yes, thank you for joining us. I appreciate helping with the transition from the Unofficial Elder Scrolls podcast to Tales of Tamriel's, but presented by
Tales of Tamriel by
figure out that branding.
We're gonna need to work on.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. I'm gonna screw up your overlay even more.
No, it's fine. It's just gonna get worse before it gets better.
I can't wait. Bye, guys.
Bye, Pylon.
See you.
I
was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say.
To go.
Yes, I figured as much. We're about to, basically, we're gonna do our final thing.
Perfect.
So. So this is like perfect. If you want to peace out, no worries. We're going to do our closing. And officially, welcome to the show now, Doc.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. It's been a pleasure. I was going to say, you've had great response on any episode you've been with us on. So
Yay!
I was going to say, now you can just be officially part of the team. So
Yay! And bring more Guars into the mix.
No!
Because we
there
need
it is.
We need it, guys. We need it.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. Every single time.
You'd never get away from everybody, Ark.
You need to start interviewing people, Ark. Your first question is, what's your feelings about Guars?
How much do you love Guar?
Yes.
But it'll be a pleasure having you join us every week now.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so, so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Yes, you as
too.
well.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, Doc. And now it's the two of us with the best screen presentation that's ever existed. This is only for the live fans. Oh, look at this.
Just leave it at this.
No way. Look, we're at this weird angle thing going. You like that? That's great. So, thank you everybody, obviously, for all of that. Super excited to have Doc joining us officially. Really exciting
being part
to
of USP, like joining forces.
Actually,
this is.
I've been joking with everybody. I totally peaked. Like, I don't know where to go from here, because it's like, dude, everybody uses USB, and we've been around forever here. So, ta-da!
But yeah, I mean, on the same month,
stuff.
We got the community spotlight on Elder Scrolls Online's website, and we are joining forces with UESP. We have Doc joining us. Out of it's
a lot. It's been a very, very busy month, which is kind of why we've been trying to say, so stuff's happening, and this is all the stuff we've kind of been doing behind the scenes, organizing this. Thank you everybody who's provided stuff. And our final audio clip that we're going to put in is actually, we saved this one for the end because it's actually not a previous host, but this is Dave, the founder of the UESP, who also kind of gave us an audio clip to add with the rest as kind of a welcome to the family type of deal. So we'll play Dave's thing as well right now, and hopefully, plans still coming down the line. Hopefully Dave will actually be able to join us for an episode and kind of like do some in-depth stuff on the Wikipedia side of things, because UESP is, like we've been kind of joking, it is the source, and Imperial Library is another great one. They are the guardians of everything
Elder Scrolls.
Right, and same thing with the Imperial Library, which we've had TES Benefactor on. I had the pleasure of talking to Lady Nerevar, at least via online before, stuff like that. And they work in tandem with the UESP as well. It's a fantastic resource. So here is Dave. We'll play his message to us as well.
Hello, Dave from the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages here. Just congratulating the Tales of Tamriel on the 300 episodes. I've only done a few podcasts myself, but I know the amount of work and dedication that goes into it. So 300 episodes is just amazing. Congrats, you guys. Also looking forward to the USB collaborating with you a bit more on some more podcasts. Perhaps I'll be in a few. Looking forward to that. But for now, congrats. And here's to the next 300. All right, take care.
So that is also greatly appreciated from you, Dave. I was going to say all my interactions with you have been a total pleasure anyways. So I credit you with my really cool statue, and you've always been like a great help whenever I've needed. So this is pretty exciting. This is really fun. It's just, I don't know, just exciting, fun stuff. This is a point that I kind of never really processed that we would get to, especially with me still being involved. So the fact that I'm measuring my amount of podcasts in triple digits and years at this point is a little like, oh my Lord, like that's not, I still sort of think of myself as like just guesting for things, but it's been a while at this point. So I don't know. Got anything else you want to just touch on before we close up shop, Ark? This has been exciting for everything.
I don't know.
Actually,
I
got one thing that I want to mention, actually, because I mentioned it about episode 25, where it was just Wandering Bard was the one who made that, found the clip and thought it was funny and, shared it with everybody. Shout out to Wandering Bard. You've never been on the show itself, but
he's been on every show.
Right. That's just it. You've never technically been on the show, but you're always on the show. And to anybody who might not know, or the myriad of people who ask, the amazing song, Red Diamond, that plays at the end of our episodes, was made for Agelos and the show by very own community member, Wandering Bard.
Yep.
So limitless thank yous for that. That is still one of my favorite renditions. I love Elder Scrolls music, so that specifically I always thought was amazing. And yeah, that is seriously an amazing piece of art that you did and then provided for us on the show. So huge shout out to you, as
that is one of the things that makes Tales of Tamriel.
Yes,
like it's
exactly
one of the best and one of the most unique things about Tales of Tamriel is our outro, the Red Diamond.
Yes, and
like cover.
The other one, which we didn't really talk about mentioning, and he's in chat, so surprise, you get a shout out too. Our amazing artwork for everything is provided by Ugo. So I actually wanted to specifically call that out, as well, as we've had to rebrand over the years with various changes and stuff like that. And huge thank you, because you do amazing stuff and it is greatly, greatly appreciated. You, in many aspects, are the reason people recognize our brand logos. Like, without you, we'd have crappy napkin drawings from me and Ark, and nobody wants that.
just a paint with just says Tales of Tamriel over a square, that would have been it.
Yes, and I spelled Tamriel wrong or something. It's like, so thank you, Ugo, for that. That's really, really appreciated that you do that for us. It's really, really awesome, and greatly, greatly appreciated.
Yep. For audio listeners, that is, you can check his Instagram out where he shares his art. That's at U_ALATALO. So U_Alatalo. And his art is absolutely amazing. He made fun arts for the show. He has a fun art of me. He did my like emotes. He's absolutely great. And he also did the Trash Fires of Tamriel fan art, which perfectly explains the show. Just it's
And I guess just because we're doing community stuff, and I'm trying to think of anything we might not have covered, just because who would have thought 2.5 hours and we're still like coming up with stuff. But quick nod to controversial member in the community, Gallisner, and your amazing meme work, usually about Ark.
Years,
Because I
man.
appreciate that.
You know,
so
at some point I
good.
had to ban him from making any more memes of me.
Yep.
I had to limit his power. He got too powerful, but he still
got
shares
too
the old
powerful.
ones. And he
got
has so
too
many
powerful.
old ones. So,
Yep.
oh,
So-
man.
So-
Love Gallisner, though.
but-
He's
Yes, I was going to say, much love, Gallisner. I was going to say, funny stuff. You've come up with some amazing meme stuff. Personal favorite still is you having Valentine's dinner with the Guar.
I hate you. I hate Gallisner. I take it back. I hate all of you.
300 episodes of torture. But yeah, so those are the couple last minute things I wanted to specifically mention, just because you help make the community what it is. So
Yep, that is true.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's it for me. That's pretty much all of it.
Yeah, we covered everything, but I feel like I
I'll
don't know.
remember
I don't
something
wanna-
after we end.
I'm
It'll
not
happen.
even just like remembering, but I don't want to end the episode.
Yeah, right. See, and that just means you just have to keep coming back now. Now we have a
Yeah.
reasonable time we can work with again. So it'll just be like old times where we can all be here each week and
Dude,
actually
I got
record.
to a point at my work when, like, last time I quit my job in my previous company, it was very busy, and I realized it was either the work, like job, or doing this stuff. So I quit. Now, I don't want to quit this job, but I got to a point where I might, if the work schedule continues to be insane like it is, and like how it kept me from doing Tales for the past, several months, I'm gonna just say no. I don't plan on resigning from this one because I really like the people I work with. I like my employer. But yeah, not this time. I'm not letting it get in the way of doing Tales at least. So actually on that topic, we talked about Tales, but we didn't talk about DCN. As some of you may have noticed, there is no other active show under DCN anymore. Ashes of Creation faded away. The New World Compendium was going great, but the game faded away. Hopefully one day they might fix it up. And the other shows are all basically done. So there is the only show under DCN.
Also, while you do this
that was
update,
active.
give me 1 second.
All right. So every show under DCN that was the only show active under DCN was Tales of Tamriel, which is now under UESP. So that said, Dungeon Crawler Network is now officially gone, I guess, faded as well. Now, obviously, all the shows and everything will still be up. They will be archived. They will still be accessible. The website will still be up as a landing page where you can find, all the links to everything we did and as an archive. So those are going to stay, but at the moment, I don't have any time to start a new show or at least edit. Like I can record, but the editing and publishing process take time. So I don't know. If I start a new show at any point, it's going to have its own. So it's not going to be under like Dungeon Crawler Network. It's going to be of its own thing like Tales of Tamriel has been before DCN. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if there's gonna be another show or not. But as we mentioned throughout the episode, Tales, we'll do our best to keep Tales going. And if at any point, for whatever reason, we are unable to keep Tales going, someone else will keep Tales going. It's not going anywhere. I don't know how many 100 episodes there will be, but this is now a community podcast, and as long as there is Elder Scrolls, basically, yeah, as long as there is Elder Scrolls, as long as there are people who are passionate about talking about Elder Scrolls, I feel like Tales of Tamriel will continue. So you got nothing to worry about, at least on that end. And again, I really, really, really appreciate everyone who supported DCN as a whole. Up until this point, every other show that DCN did held under, everyone who, you know, were supportive over Patreon that allowed me to keep, you know, paying for the hosting services and everything like that. That allowed me to do this full time for a year. I really, really, really do appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, it's been, I don't know. I don't know how to like put it in the words, everything I feel about the point Tales of Tamriel reached. I mean, we were on the Elder Scrolls Online website. We are joining forces with UESP. I mean, that is as big a name as Elder Scrolls itself. It's they've been there since day one, and it's, I don't know. And I've ran out of things to say while waiting for Lotus to return. So, and he is streaming, so I can't just do the outro and press and stream. So now I have to, I don't know, find things to talk about. Oh, there he is. He fetched Boots. Well, at least we got to see Boots for a second. That's good. But this is not going to mean anything for the audio listeners because you can see Boots. But if you follow us on Twitter and everything like that, there we go. Okay, he's back.
I am back.
I was running out of things to say hard.
Perfect. Yeah. As anybody on the live show would have seen, I just carried up Boots. The reason I had to go was Boots was crying. She wanted her dinner, and I couldn't bear to have Boots cry. So
yeah, that's a good
she went over to the
reason
door and then just started making sad little sounds. I was like, oh, we've got to feed you. So that's one thing to account for a time period like this. This is usually when Boots has dinner. So I was like, oh, don't be sad. So yeah, that's where I had to just go MIA for. So sorry for the rambling, but
it's been almost another 3-hour episode.
Yeah, just about right around there.
Jokes aside, I thought this was going to be a short episode, but when has it ever been a short episode?
Yeah, well, it's like we're not doing news, we're not doing tales necessarily, like in-game stuff. We'll go back to the normal format next time.
Actually, we'll probably improve the format with the know-how that comes from Pylon and Doc, because they had a very nice show structure as well.
Yes.
So we'll probably implement some of their ideas and some of their show structure.
See what works, what doesn't.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So there will be. We'll work on it. I mean, they had, like, especially in overlays department, they had amazing overlays. So we'll probably work with them to see what we can incorporate into Tales of Tamriel as well.
Exactly.
And yeah.
And yes, Sparky, they had show structure. We don't. That's the difference.
Now, what I'm curious about is, am I going to put the UESP name into the title of this show when I release it? Or are we keeping it hidden until this show goes live? How do you do that?
I don't know.
Have people already spoiled it on Twitter? I don't know. Not that I see.
I don't know. Maybe it'll come out next episode. Like maybe we'll leave it so you have to listen to this one to get or be here, like all of you in chat. So.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we'll see. We'll decide on that. We'll decide on that. So we also have a new logo and artwork coming from Ugo again. But it's a puzzle to just make it work with UESP and Tales together, so we are working on that as well. The structure is dumpster shaped, that is true. But yeah. That brings us to the, I guess, end of the show.
That's it.
Pylon is in chat. You guys are still going, I don't want to end the episode, Pylon. I don't want to.
Yeah. So this is our closing. This is our closing pylon. It closes for 14 minutes or whatever. But I don't know. I guess that's just it. We'll see if we can find that lost drunken episode, as there seem to be a lot of people interested in that.
Dude, I had completely forgotten about that, the existence of that.
Right.
I hope I have it somewhere.
Yeah, so if we do, I can upload it to mine, because whatever. I'll just put it on my channel or whatnot. It'll be a super secret hidden episode. It'll be like an Easter egg on my channel or something, I guess. But yeah, so that was, in general, I was going to say, this was a lot of fun. I hope everybody else enjoyed. Thank you, Bethesda and Zoss as well, I guess, just for making the game that we play, or the series, as well as anytime we've reached out to them for stuff, in my experience, they've been super helpful. So it's like, people have all sorts of issues with different things and stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. Personally, I've had nothing but a great experience from all of them. So huge shout out to all of them over there with help with charity or just the show itself, or, providing us the game that we have so much fun playing each day. So.
Oh, also, now that we are recording at a reasonable time for EU as well, be on the watch out, EU creators, because there is so many people that I want to invite on the show that I didn't before, because we were recording in the friggin' middle of the night for everybody. So now that we are that, there's going to be a lot of the EU creators as well that will invite on the show, and hopefully they accept and we have a great time. So, Lotus, where can people find you?
So you can find me in-game at Lotus of Doom, on Twitter at Lotus of Doom, Discord, same thing, and I've got my YouTube channel, which I just throw random stuff up there. Usually it's Elder Scrolls or Fallout related so far, but that's Lotus of Doom as well. Thanks to everybody who bum rush subbed me to start with, so that I immediately got my own tag. That was very nice of all of you. But yeah, I'm Lotus of Doom over there as well. And where we record the show is just Twitch, and I'm at Lotus of Doom. It's pretty easy to find me because of cross-branding.
So that is going to be Sunday, 3 p.m. ET from now on twitch.tv/Lotus of Doom, where we'll hopefully stick to a schedule and be known where to be found. You can find me at Arcaneer everywhere. That is twitter.com/Arcaneer. On Twitch, I am twitch.tv/Arcaneer's Quest after a rebranding of the DCN channel. That is ARKHANIIR. And we are going to probably set up a link for everything Tales of Tamriel related on UESP as well. So you will be able to find everything that we do over at uesp.net/that link, and also dungeoncrawlernetwork.com, because as I said, I'm going to be keeping the website open with all the links and the archives. There you will be able to find our social media, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, our RSS feeds, and everything like that. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/UESP now that we are joining forces with them, and check out all the amazing rewards you can actually get from there, and help support the show and continue to support the show the same way you did before. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes it matters. Thank you all so very much for joining on this grand milestone episode celebration of Tales of Tamriel, everybody, and we will see you all next time. Have a great night.
See you later.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.